all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Yeah, it's me again. And if you're sidelined with a sports injury, you already know nothing's more frustrating than being told to just rest. At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we get athletes moving sooner with our zero gravity treadmills. You can run, train, and rebuild strength with up to 80% less body weight, so your injury heals while your confidence comes roaring back. When your sports injury's yelling, whisper back. LeadingEdgePhysio.com, because life shouldn't hurt.
Employee pricing is back at Nisku Ford. Pay the same as Ford Motor Company employees. Plus, get the benefits of being a Nisku Ford customer. You'll have the best selection of new Ford vehicles from our great lineup of SUVs, from Bronco Sports and Explorers right up to the Ford Expedition, and Ford trucks from the Ford Maverick, Ranger, F-150, and Super Duty. Ford employee pricing is the biggest event on the Nisku Ford calendar. But hurry, it won't last forever, and inventory is limited. Take advantage of employee pricing today at Nisku Ford. Above expectations.
The Jason Gregor Show. On Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Warren's had a hit off on him up the middle. This is in the air, pretty deep left center. Got a chance. Going away. Gilbert against the wall. A grand slam for Angel Suarez, and somehow the Reds are within a run.
On Thursday, August 27th, Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here from the Sports 1440 studios. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. All revenue stays in Alberta. Of course, today it is the Daily Grand. That would run for 20 years. $7.3 million. If you were to take the Daily Grand tomorrow, Lotto Max, $10 million. On Saturday night, we got the Gold Ball Jackpot, $20 million. PlayAlberta.ca. You can also go check out our specials of the day. We got high hopes for this one. We even mixed in a little NFL preseason. Two of our teams in action. Thought, why not? We got the Chargers to win. We got the Bills to win, and Mac picked the Raiders. It's the NFL dreams. Also, Dex selects, it's the Liberty and the Mystics money line. Trying to make it as simple as possible. Plus, we got the MLB parlay. Diamondbacks, Dodgers, and Brewers boosted. You can check it out at PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. However you're tuning in, we do appreciate it. You can listen to us live on the AM dial. The perk to that is that once the show wraps up, we'll hand things over to the Toronto Blue Jays as they take on the Royals from Toronto. First pitch in that one set for 5:07. You can listen to us online with TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Radio Player Canada, or our website. And then you can watch us as well on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Facebook is nice. You can like us there. YouTube, I think even better because you can make sure you hit that like button and get in on the chat as well. Lots to get to here on the program today. Of course, some news in the NHL. I'm sure you guys saw it. Connor Hellebuyck formally putting out his request to be traded. This was something that was privately done a while ago. Obviously, he and his side were not happy with what happened and how it was handled. So you go public. You make a little more noise. Connor Hellebuyck, just under 3 years ago, signed a contract extension that ran through the 2030-31 season worth $8.5 million per year. Now he wants out. A little bit of an issue. We've seen this with Dylan Larkin. He's got that anchor. No movement clause. But next season, it becomes a 10-team approved trade list. So I guess right now, Connor Hellebuyck could give 5 teams that he might want to go to, and those could be options. Next year, it improves to 10. But I'm really intrigued to see how this gets handled. We've seen these trade requests popping up more and more as of late. It sucks. I don't like it when a player that has a no movement clause does this. But I think you got to go back to the core, to the root. The GMs are handing them out. It's kind of a situation where I think I sit on the fence because if I'm a GM and giving him this no movement clause is what makes sure he signs, of course I'm going to give it to him and hope that I do enough to make him happy. But now Connor Hellebuyck wants out. Will it be like a Dylan Larkin situation where maybe there's a chance to mend it? I don't know. But there will be a lot of teams that should be after his services. First team that comes to mind, as always, Las Vegas. The Vegas Golden Knights seems like a thing that they might do to find a way to make this happen. It would be out of the division in the conference. But I'd love to hear where you guys think he could end up. We're going to talk about that with Scott Burnside on Hockey, Hall of Fame writer. It is Thirsty Thursday with, I believe, David Owens. Very intrigued to see what we drink today. The last couple times we've done this, I've got kind of lucky. They've been nice drinks. We'll see if that continues. We'll be joined by Zach Lang of Oilers Nation. Of course, get his thoughts on the injury news from the Edmonton Oilers. I'll get his thoughts on Hellebuyck as well. Colin Livingston will join us for the CanTorque Race Report as we speed things up at 3:40. We got the roundtable with Deck and Mac. We've got Jay Retcher from the Jay Retcher podcast down in Tampa, a longtime reporter in that area. We'll talk some Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the most part, but a little bit about the Lightning as well. See what he thinks about the Hellebuyck news. Spec will join us. We got the stats of the day, Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, and more. So get in on the conversation, 1-833-401-1440, or shoot me an email, connor@sports1440.ca. Lance says, what are these Americans going to do next when their feelings get hurt? They're soft as hell. Can't handle it in Canada. Good riddance. Yeah, it's wild. It's unfortunate. We've kind of seen JT Miller was moved, and we saw it with Matthew Tkachuk. After what happened for the Flames with Johnny Gaudreau, it kind of made sense for that one. Like, at least there was like, hey, trade me because I'm not going to resign here. Connor Hellebuyck now in Winnipeg. We saw it with Brady Tkachuk. It's been a problem for the Oilers in the past. Not quite as much with this generation of the team. I think a lot of guys come here. They see the facilities. You play with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. You see how awesome it is in the playoffs. It's a place you want to be. But now for these Winnipeg Jets fans, it's a bit of a bummer because this is the guy who's been the face of your franchise the last few years. You wanted to see him get over the issues in the postseason. It doesn't look like that's going to happen. We saw him do that on the American Olympic team, but not really as a member of the Winnipeg Jets. So he's the next one to want his way out. We've got college football tonight. Mr. Declan Kruger, are you aware of the game tonight? Are you going to be tuning in?
Connor, man, I can't lie. You'd think I would be. Thought it was all this Saturday.
Well, the South Dakota School of Mines and Technology.
Oh, that's right.
Based in Rapid City, South Dakota, takes on Drake.
Yeah, I did know that actually.
From Des Moines, Iowa.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I thought you'd be just jonesing for this one tonight. Gets going. I don't even know. 5:30. Drake hosting.
Man, I feel like a fraud, number one. I just immense amounts of shame washing over me. I did know that. I won't be watching. I'm not going to lie. I will not be watching, but great to have college football back.
We should probably check in and see if that one is on TV. But I know then we got tomorrow as well. It's the smaller schools leading up till Saturday. But for those of you sickos like Declan, Drake, and I didn't know this school existed, South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. I guess it'd probably be like, it's one of those schools where they have the industry in the area, Texas A&M, South Dakota, M&T, Mines and Technology. For those who care, Compro Evolution. Whereas Gregory's been off for 3 weeks, he is back next week. Little vacation. He doing some work as well, but yeah, he'll be back next week. Compro Evolution. Don't worry. Dylan says, would never happen, but Jari and 4 firsts for Hellebuck. Don't care if it's an overpay. Go get him. It would maybe be an overpay, but maybe not. Like if you win with him, then it's not an overpay. If you hoist Lord Stanley, it doesn't matter what you paid. You got the ultimate goal. Would Winnipeg want to roll this season with a duo of Jari and Stuart Skinner? A couple Oilers cast-offs. I don't know. The 4 firsts might be intriguing, but they'd be late firsts. Remember that. I'm curious who he'll want to go to. He's probably going to have to submit a list. He's thinking about teams that are maybe a goalie away. Well, Kevin Woodley just this week, and I'm going to go back in my notepad here, had in the Atlantic the Florida Panthers as the lowest ranked goaltending trio in the Atlantic Division. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't know if Winnipeg wants to help out the Florida Panthers, but could you imagine that? That would be something. Other contending teams lower down there on the list of goaltenders? Yeah, nothing too crazy. The Maple Leafs, that's where Kevin Woodley had in the Pacific. It was the 7th spot. The good teams are already there, but would they take an upgrade? Of course you would. Connor Halley, when healthy, he's one of the best goalies in the NHL. Play strong in front of him. Of course you would want him. So I understand that it would be frustrating. It would be a huge loss. But if you're the Winnipeg Jets, at some point you just got to cut your losses, I think, and get something. Whatever the best package would be. But you're, again, similar to what the Detroit Red Wings went through with Dylan Larkin, you're getting dealt just a terrible hand. Like, okay, thanks. We invested all this money in you, let you be the face of the franchise. And now you're in a position where you can control where you want to go. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Cat Dad says, something tells me he's not going to waive from Winnipeg to go to Edmonton. Cat Dad, I think you're probably right. I think he might want to go down south. But if you wanted to go to a team that has a couple good players and a chance to win, then Edmonton would be an option. I don't think it's going to happen. Jeff says, how about Hellbuck for the Tkachuk brothers? Yeah, that would be a great deal for Winnipeg if they could make it happen to turn things around. Sham says, I think going forward, Canadian teams might want to second guess themselves on drafting Americans. Not a good trend. Sham, I'm unsure. I mean, we got to look back at Connor Hellbuck. He was drafted out of Odessa, Texas in like the 5th round. I think you're still going to take your Flyers on that one. I think there's probably some serious conversations with some players. Like, do you see yourself playing in Canada for the next 10 plus years? And even if they tell you yes, I think you might have to be a little bit suspicious because you're going to say anything in a pre-draft interview to get drafted as high as you can. I don't want to paint it with paint all Americans with that brush and say you can't draft Americans, but I think there has to be a little bit of a conversation. A lot of guys might want to play home. Conrad says, this generation of American hockey players are so ego-based. It's all about them. Big crybabies, too much wag the dog in society as a whole. Dave from Stoney says, Hellbuck sucks in the playoffs. Yeah, that's the knock, right? I think we kind of saw some improvement and maybe enough playing for the Olympic team and how good he was in that gold medal game where some people might say, I want to see what he can do. And maybe playing on a different team might be it. 33 years old, just turned, so he'll be turning 34 towards the playoffs of next season. Regular season, it's been good. Last year was a little bit of a drop-off, but before that, he's a lock at above 900 save percentage as a career, 916. Goals against average, 258. It jumped a little bit this year, but we know kind of the things Winnipeg went through. The postseason, his last 3 appearances hasn't been as good. Dropped off to sub 900 going back to 2022 through 2025. In 2020, 2021, he was really good. Didn't have the team success, but, won around. So his first 4 years in the playoffs, he was fine. It's really just been the last 3, and I think most notably probably 2023, 2024, when he wasn't very good at all. They were bounced in 5 games. His goals against average was above 5. So that's the one we're all going to remember. But if you have him in your team and you bring him in, you're going to think that, hey, we can be the reason that these numbers turn around. We can be the reason it happens, despite the last couple seasons. Trailer Park Ryan says, hey guys, crazy trade thought, but how awesome would the San Jose Sharks look with Hellebuck? They have the cap space and the assets to pull off a trade like that. That is an interesting one. I mean, you do have to remember, like, they do have some players that they're going to have to pay in the next couple of years. And Connor Hellebuck's deal is north of $8 million for the next 5 seasons. So it'd be interesting. I don't hate the idea of that one. I think maybe he'd be good with it. If he's looking to go back to the States, there's a chance to kind of get on the rise there with San Jose Sharks, who we think are probably going to improve. On his head says, I hope Hellebuck goes to Vegas just to watch the Carter Hart crash. Well, he would be backup goalie all of a sudden if it were to happen. I don't know if Vegas, has the stuff to pull that one off. I'll slide into the cap space here and just see, because I think right now they're projected to be $8 million over the cap. So I don't know if that is going to involve any players been thrown on the LTIR. Some finagling there. I guess Pietrangelo would be the one. That gives them a little bit of cap space to work with, but it wouldn't be easy for them either. They got a lot of guys that they've brought in the last few years that they've paid and locked up. Rasmus Anderson at 8.5 for a long time. Shea Theodore is there for 7.45. Noah Hannafin, 7.35. So the back end taking up a lot of the cap space as well. And then on the front end, like these guys, they went out and brought in and they secured the contracts. Jack Eichel, north of 13. Mitch Marner, 12 mil. You got Stone at 9.5 for another season. Thomas Hertl. And then we got a couple guys dropping off after that. So you have $14 million between Stone and Carlson. Something tells me they'd like to bring back Stone, but I think after this season, it's probably a year-by-year basis for them. 1-833-401-1440 is the text line. JP says, hasn't Hellebuck been on the Jets for 10 years or more? Yeah. I mean, he was drafted by them, right? His journey is really cool, actually. We kind of got into it. I don't even know. One of the shows earlier on, I think it's been brought up a couple times. Maybe it was just kind of with the reports that he might be wanting to move on. But 33 years old, he's been with the Jets organization since the beginning. He was selected 130th overall back in 2012. And like playing in Michigan, he went to the Odessa Jackalopes. That's the area of Texas where like the movie Friday Night Lights or the TV show or the book started from. So he wasn't playing exactly a hockey hotbed, but decided to, pursue it at that level, went on to play collegiate hockey 2 years at Massachusetts Lowell, and then went on to the AHL. And burst on the scene, was really good for a long time. I think you'd be pretty crazy if you were a team and you're not making the phone call. Obviously, there's exceptions to that rule. There are some really good teams, but he's a very tempting player. The problem is he has all the power. So if you're not let's just say there's a few things. You want a good team. You want good weather. Heck, maybe state income tax is a concern for him. You got to have kind of be in that sweet spot, and the power is his. Bobby says, kind of a ridiculous suggestion. Jari in 4 first rounds for Hellebuck. Get the damn defensive system in place. We can't always blame the goalie when the Oilers can't outscore their defensive blunders. I'm sure Oilers fans would be thrilled to suck for another decade because of not having any young players developing in their system. Bobby. I would agree with you. I mean, like, I would, if the Edmonton Oilers were to go out there and make that move, I would applaud them for it. But you have to be better defensively. And that's something we've talked about with their current stable of goalies. Better defensive hockey is going to make them look a lot better. We saw it on occasion. There's the one game where they blocked more shots than Tristan Jarry had to save. You don't ask for that every night. But, no lapses in your defensive end. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Make smart plays. Get it out of your zone. Even if it's just clearing it out to, the opponent's blue line. Live to fight another day. That's okay sometimes. Because we've seen it go the other way and didn't work out great for the Oilers. Ryan says, why trade Hellebuck anyways? He's there till 31. Why do they have to fold to the request? I'd get if this was his last year and he didn't want to lose him for nothing, but come on. I'm kind of with you, Ryan. Like I said to start this whole thing out, I get both sides of it. And it all starts when you give out these no movement clauses and the player has all the control. But like, let's say you're signing Connor Hellebuck to a contract. You're in that negotiation room, and the one thing that is hindering it all is the no movement clause. As a GM, you're going to give it to him. Like we saw Ken Holland hand them out. That's kind of a bargaining tool. Okay, we'll give you no movement clause, or we'll give you a couple extra years on the end. They could hang on to him, but what happens? Does Connor Hellebuck refuse to report? I don't know if it'd ever get that far. We're kind of seeing it with Dylan Larkin right now as well. And I know there's been some kind of rumblings that maybe things are getting better in that situation, but who knows? It's going to be something to watch out for. And we'll talk to all of our guests about that, get their opinion. Kenneth says, best case scenario for the Jets, get Max return when he's in his prime. No bad press. And that might be it. You just hope that there's a few teams. Because, with Dylan Larkin, it was 4 teams. That's hard to do. You're putting them in such a bad position as a management staff, and you're kind of hampering what they're able to do. If teams know you're dealing from a point of weakness, if Hellebuck says, here's 10 teams, this is where I'd like to go, appreciate if we can move on from it. But it doesn't feel like it's been that smooth, because apparently this was a private request that now they decided to go public with. So it could get a little bit messy out in Winnipeg. Hey, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk to Scotty Burnside, get his thoughts on this whole fiasco and kind of the issue with giving out these no trade clauses and more. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. Properties include the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, a 1,600-seat arena, as well as Summit Restaurant. Learn more at silentice.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
From the locker room to your radio, Sports 1440 is Edmonton's sports leader. Real talk, big personalities, and your texts. It's interactive. It's fun. It's where Edmonton talks sports. Sports 1440.
Do you know why people love working at GS Construction? It's honest work. It's work that needs to be done. And we're really good at what we do. That's why GS Construction has been in business for over 50 years. We won't be wearing a top hat and tails, more like hard hat and boots, because we're heading underground to keep the water flowing in and out of your homes and businesses in Edmonton. GS Construction is currently looking for experienced pipe layers and top men. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
Action Electrical Solar Team is now making a play for sustainability and savings. They're specialists in powering up for a greener future.
That's the strategy, designing and installing high-efficiency solar panels. They're helping homes and businesses combat rising utility costs by harnessing the power of the sun.
A smart move for efficiency and the environment. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Photographers, start your cameras. Vision Credit Union's annual photo contest is back. We're asking you to show us the people, places, and moments that made you glad you chose this rural life. Maybe it's the view from your farm, a walk down Main Street, neighbors pitching in, a weekend at the rodeo, or a sunset down a back road. Share your photo to show why life in rural Alberta is a choice worth celebrating. Enter and vote at whatsyourshare.ca.
It might have been scraped by the snowblower, dented while door crashing, or crunched at the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime.
Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair and get a complete auto detailing absolutely free.
But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to robertsonbodyworks.com.
I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows. Locally manufactured and installed, Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Or welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Connor Halley sitting in for the vacationing Jason. He'll make his return next week. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, a grand a day tonight for the next 20 years. Could you imagine? Yeah, got to buy your ticket at PlayAlberta.ca. Also got the Jason Gregor Show specials on the sporting side of things. Boosted as usual. Remember, though, to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Duncan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here right now. We are going to go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's. The most wanted menu items from around the world have landed in Canada. Nab the McDonald's World Menu Heist at select restaurants. Hurry in before we have to give them back. Only at McDonald's as we bring in Hockey Hall of Fame hockey writer Scott Burnside. Also Burnside on hockey. Give him a follow on X at Overtime Scott B. Scott, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. You caught me at a good time. A little news breaking late on a Thursday afternoon.
Right. I mean, it's been a tough week to sit in for Jason the last couple of weeks here because not too much happening, but I love it on a Thursday. We get some big news. As one of the top goalies in the NHL going public with a trade request, which from what we've seen in his statement was previously made private. It didn't work out very well for him. So, Scott, what do you think happens here? I mean, we've seen this quite a bit now. The narrative up here is that Americans, wanting to make that move back down south for Connor Hellebuyck, maybe a better winning situation or something along those lines, but still has that no movement clause as well. So he kind of controls the power here. How do you think it's all going to play out?
Yeah, and it's really been fascinating when you look at, big picture, and you look at Team USA that won the gold medal, and Milan happened to be there. So feel pretty fortunate to have watched, maybe one of the greatest goaltending performances in a single game situation as Team USA beat Team Canada in overtime. It certainly puts Kevin Cheveldayoff and the Winnipeg Jets in a difficult position. As you point out, Connor Hellebuyck right now has a full no move clause. Changes next summer to a limited, if I read it correctly, player submitting a 10-team no-trade list starting next summer. So, it'll be interesting to see how Kevin Cheveldayoff and the Jets respond to this. It's to me a little bit different than Dylan Larkin asking for a trade out of Detroit, although both, of course, were members of Team USA and both have significant time left on their current deals. But it is going to be interesting to see how the Jets respond to something like this, because as you point out, Hellebuyck, one of the top goaltenders in the NHL. I know he's 33, but we've seen lots of goaltenders play at an exceptional level well into their late 30s. So I don't worry about that too much. And yes, the $8.5 million cap hit is big, but every year as we move forward, as the NHL salary cap continues to rise, that number becomes more and more manageable, I think. And, assuming if you're a team, look around the NHL and whether it's a team like the New Jersey Devils or the Buffalo Sabres, maybe the Carolina Hurricanes, they were linked earlier in the off season with Connor Hellebuyck. If you're a team that is in that window of winning a Stanley Cup, 2 or 3 or 4 years of elite Connor Hellebuyck is a pretty enticing option if that is, maybe what you feel is the last piece to your Stanley Cup puzzle. Right? Throw in the Edmonton Oilers. News in the last day or so that Frederik Andersen, not going to be ready for training camp. So, does that throw the Oiler goaltending situation, already a bit murky, into a different, situation for Stan Bowman? I can't imagine that Hellebuck fits there, but it's certainly, there are teams around the NHL who I think would be happy to have a player who I think it's fair to say right now is a future Hall of Famer, and Connor Hellebuck, former Hart Trophy winner, multiple Vezina winner, gold medal winner. So it is going to be interesting to see, how the Jets approach this and what kind of return they might expect, because as we all know, when a player wants to leave town, other NHL GMs are more likely to, as my friend Elliot Friedman sometimes says, toss you an anchor, not a life preserver. So it will be interesting to see what kind of return the Jets might realistically expect for a guy like Connor Halley, given that he does control his fate with the no-move clause.
So you gave a couple of names. There are teams that might be interested. We threw it out on our text line, and, the usual suspects popped up. Vegas, despite being in a kind of a tough cap situation, they could always find a way. And we had Kevin Woodley on our show from In Goal Magazine on Monday. We talked about the goalie rankings in division, and he had the Florida Panthers in the 8th spot in the Atlantic. So, with those two teams, would they be possible landing spots, you think, for Connor Hellebuyck? Would they have the assets to make the move? And is there any other teams that you think would be a good fit?
Yeah, no, it's Florida, of course, with Bill Zito. Never say never with Bill Zito. And certainly there, it's, a team with Sergei Bobrovsky now playing in Toronto. I think Kevin's rankings are probably pretty accurate in terms of where the Panthers, are right now. Do they have the assets are an issue, and then how do you work the cap space? Vegas is, of course, a team with Kelly McCrimmon, who always seems to find a way to chase the big fish and to find a way to get them under contract. Although, again, I'm not sure. Again, Vegas will always be in the mix. I'm not sure their need. I think that when you look at Adin Hill and Carter Hart, I'm not sold on that tandem winning you a Stanley Cup. But they certainly have capable goaltending right now. So I don't know that their need is as glaring as certainly is in New Jersey, where the Devils with a new GM there and Sonny Mehta, and I think Sheldon Keefe probably under a little pressure as the head coach there to get that team back in the playoffs, and really don't have. I don't think they have the kind of goaltending depth that a lot of people would look at and say, yeah, this is for sure a playoff team. And Connor Hellebuyck changes that pretty dramatically. And to me, the interesting team is Carolina. And of course, with Freddie Andersen coming to Edmonton on the 1-year deal, and the strange circumstances with him sort of departing the team in the middle of the Stanley Cup final, an integral part of the Kane Stanley Cup run. But Pyotr Kochetkov and Brandon Bussi, are they a goaltending tandem in Carolina that, gives you confidence that you could go back to back? Or does Eric Tulsky, the GM in Carolina, does he need to find a veteran goaltender a la Freddie Andersen? Or, of course, now with Connor Hellebuyck obviously looking to move, and it's hard to imagine that Connor Hellebuyck wouldn't want to be in Carolina, given how deep and exceptional that team is, and the great coach with Rob Brindamore. So that would be interesting to see, how that unfolds. Carolina has tremendous stockpile of young talent. Again, it goes back to what is Kevin Cheveldayoff going to need, to sell that in his market. And the only GM that the Jets have ever known, there's a certain amount of pressure on him. If his franchise goaltender is going to go out the door, can you trade him for, sort of picks and prospects, or do you need to find a team who can return an NHL goaltender? And then I'm just rambling now, but if I go back to Billy Guerin in Minnesota, GM of the Wild, of course, with Quinn Hughes there in his contract year. There are two solid goaltenders in Minnesota. does that make sense for the Jets to bring in an NHL quality goaltender, whether it's Philip Gustafsson or Jesper Wallstead? Is that something that works on both sides there? Of course, two teams in the Central Division, maybe they don't want to be dealing with each other. But again, that's something I think would be an interesting discussion to have if you're Bill Guerin.
Longtime NHL writer Scott Burnside joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. You can get his work at Burnside on Hockey. And one of the questions that we've had brought up quite a bit is these no movement clause, no trade clauses. I saw that Eric Macramella had a list of, by the 4 major North American sports, the approximate number of no clause or no trade, no movement clauses. The NFL, 8. The NBA, 2. Major League Baseball, 35. NHL, 245. They get handed out quite a bit. And honestly, I can't blame a GM, because if that's the one thing you need to give to a player to lock him in long term, I totally understand why you would give it out. But, with this happening now with Connor Hellebuyck and now Dylan Larkin as well, do you think there's any hesitancy from NHL GMs to give out the full no movement clauses?
Well, yeah, and maybe what we're seeing here is a balancing of the scales, right? And you're absolutely right. For years, GMs have used the no move clause, and whether it's a full-on no move clause or it's modified, however it works out. I mean, that's how you save money, right? You save dollar, you save term, because that's how you give back when you're negotiating a contract with a player. And I do think it does. I see a lot of certainly Winnipeg fans are mad, right? I mean, Connor Hellebuyck's now about to go into the 3rd year of a long-term deal he signed with the Jets, but as GMs always have the option of trading a player regardless of how long the deal has been signed. Now, based on whatever happens with the no move clause or the modified no trade clause, a GM is always within his right to attempt to trade a player, go to a player, ask him to waive the clause. Certainly, if he doesn't have that kind of trade protection, a GM can sign a player one day and trade him the next. So you go back to Marian Hossa being traded to the Atlanta Thrashers, and I believe it might have been the day after he signed a deal with the Sens that he ended up in Atlanta. That's the nature of the business. But I do think what we're seeing now is that players are saying, well, listen, I've decided on Connor Hellebuyck. I've decided I would prefer to be somewhere else for the balance of this contract. I believe for the good of my career, my family, whatever the rationale is, that I want to be somewhere else. And the fact that they can go to a team, obviously we've seen it with Brady Tkachuk. We're waiting to see what will happen with Dylan Larkin. They're within their rights to do it. Detroit doesn't have to trade Dylan Larkin. It seems to be inevitably and impossibly awkward if their former captain comes back to camp in a month. But that certainly can happen. And Kevin Cheveldayoff doesn't have to trade Connor Hellebuyck. He doesn't have to trade him next week. He doesn't have to trade him at all. Connor Hellebuyck has made his wishes known, but if it doesn't fit for the Jets, then he remains a Jet, and that's just the reality. Now, when you get to this point, you have to balance the awkwardness. What's it like in the room? All of those factors that go into it. But I do think what we're seeing now is that players are exercising their right. Right? There's nothing wrong with Connor Hellebuyck asking to be traded out of Winnipeg. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I do think we're seeing now where players are more willing to and certainly more vocal about trying to take control of their own destinies, even though they've signed a contract with the team. And it may, leave fans unhappy, and it certainly seems to be happening where these players are, at least in some cases, Brady Tkachuk and with Connor Hellebuyck leaving Canadian markets. But, Dylan Larkin wants to leave an Original Six franchise. So I don't think it's specific only to Canadian franchises who have to deal with this possibility. I just think this is something we're probably going to see moving forward with players trying to exercise more control over their own destinies.
Scott, over at Burnside on Hockey, you've got a really cool piece about when you even say it, too early look at Western Conference standings and a potential fatal flaw. We know there's lots to still fall out from it, but I don't want to give away too much about Edmonton because I want people to go check it out. But when you went through the Western Conference, was there a team that you thought, okay, this was the easiest to find their fatal flaw? And then on the opposite side, was there a team and you were like, kind of have to dig to find one with this group.
Well, I did have to. I would say when you go to to me, like teams like Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas. Again, the top three teams in the Western Conference a year ago, and of course, all bunched up at the top of the Central Division. Those are really well-built, solid teams. But no team is without its flaw. And all those teams that we just talked about Minnesota. What's going to happen with Quinn Hughes as he enters his contract year, that sort of thing. I will say the team that I'm most, I think, interested in are the San Jose Sharks. And looking at, of course, with the addition of Darnell Nurse, Jacob Trouba, really Mike Greer, the GM there, really changing the defensive complexion there. That's another team, frankly, I've been reading since the news of Hellebuck's asking out of Winnipeg broke. But, the Sharks' defense and goaltending, I think, are the biggest questions heading into this season. My goodness, they have so many good young players, and offensively, they're going to be off the charts. They, I think, just literally ran out of gas at the end of last season in an unexpected bid for a playoff spot, then jumped the queue in the draft lottery to pick number 2 overall. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches there in San Jose. But do they have the goaltending and do they have the team defense? I really think that Darnell Nurse and Jacob Trouba are going to be nice fits there. I think they're going to be harder to play against. And I do think that that's a playoff team. And, the Pacific Division, to me, the weakest division in hockey, I think the Sharks are going to be a team that should be right in the playoff mix. And whether they slide into the third spot, maybe in the Pacific Division, maybe into a wild card spot. But I do think that they're a team that really is poised to be a playoff team next spring.
Well, Scott, thanks so much for joining us today on the show. Really appreciate it. Love the rundown. And I recommend everyone go check out the article, Burnside on Hockey.
Yeah, anytime.
There you go. Scott Burnside, Hall of Fame writer, and really good rundown there. And good thoughts on the Connor Hellebuyck situation. Go check him out at Overtime Scott B. He's got the information for his website. You can go sign up there and get the good stuff. And not just hockey. He's actually, his most recent piece is about Ed Oliver and there's kind of the tragic story that happened there. So go check it out on X, like I said, at Overtime Scott B. We'll take a break here. When we come back, we'll be doing a little sampling. It's Thirsty Thursday. I think I heard the doorbell ring. I think someone's here. David Owen, Stephen Bazan. We'll let you know after the break. It's the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Are you a skilled laborer? All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. A heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience, All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too. With work in and around Edmonton for local land developers, All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with Traco or backhoe experience searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade: safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Don't miss a moment of Blue Jays baseball this season. Join play-by-play announcer Ben Showman for the games live on Sports 1440. The Toronto Blue Jays are on Edmonton's home for all things sports. Sports 1440.
The Chicken Parmy Burger, McExtreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them. You've screenshotted them. You've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Is it time to upgrade your golf bag? From August 6th to September 8th, the Leduc Golf Club Pro Shop is participating in the massive Callaway 2x trade-in bonus events. Bring in your old clubs and get double the trade-in value, up to an incredible $825 towards the purchase of new eligible Callaway gear. Upgrade to the latest Quantum Woods, Apex Irons, X-Forged, or Reva Rise clubs. Maximize your trade-in value today. See the Leduc Golf Club Pro Shop for details.
School's almost out, and road trip season is just around the corner. But if your brakes sound like they're grinding harder than a hockey fourth liner, it might be time to visit Napa Auto Parts. Napa has all the quality parts, tools, and know-how to help keep your vehicle running smoothly and road ready. With over 85 locations in Alberta, visit your local Napa store today or shop online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Emerald Equipment. Emerald Equipment is Edmonton's newest dealer for Yanmar compact equipment. Machines built tough for the jobs that don't quit. Get your new Yanmar compact track loaders with ASV Posi equipment at Emerald Equipment.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Your show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. We got Thirsty Thursday coming up, and there are some interesting drinks coming up. PlayAlberta.ca. Today is the grand a day, 20 years, $1,000 a day. It's about $7.3 million for those of you who don't want to do the quick math. You can get your ticket tonight. Also tomorrow, the Lotto Max, $10 million. Saturday's the Gold Ball Jackpot, $20 million. Plus, you got the Jason Gregor Show specials in the sports section. Go check it out. Boosted as usual. Remember to use your game sense. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, and Mackenzie McLennan with you here in the Sports 1440 studios. It is time now for Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. Of course, 2 locations, the OG location and then the newer location. Think Otwell. Think, when we bring in David Owens to tell us exactly where. I'm just blown away by the beverages and the colors you brought in here.
Yeah,
today.
right. This is some stuff, and this is typically not where my generation would go to anymore.
Yeah.
Now, if we wanted to relive our 80s and 90s time with the Purple Onion or something like that, some of these shots and cocktails would be like bang on, especially this blue one is like a spectacular color of blue there.
It is. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And then the
That's
container is very interesting as
and
well.
the containers, right? So we're sticking with that interesting packaging, right? So last week we had some cool packaging, and we got some cool packaging again this week.
I'll say, like, you might not have, but me 10 years ago, like this, if this is up at the counter, I'm like, oh yeah, why not? Let's throw this in. Like, this stuff looks interesting. So
That's right.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll get all the pictures and we'll have it up on our social media pages for everyone
Yeah,
to
I
check
know
out as
Steven's
well.
got it posted right now on all of our stuff at the moment. We have we've got all of this stuff is available at the Otwell store, and just the first one and a couple of the rest are available at OG, but everything will be in there by Saturday for sure.
All right.
So yeah, so let's get started.
Where do you want to start
so
here?
we're gonna start with the birdie juice. There's a little blue bottle there. I'm gonna make you drink right out of it because that's kind of the whole point of this whole thing, right? So So this is the this is made, you know, right here. This is a great local product, and this is now the official. This is an official beverage of the PGA of Canada.
Oh, really? Okay.
This is you know, it is birdie juice, as you can see, and it comes in these great little shots. It comes in a little 4-pack.
Okay.
It's quite cool. And they come in like a 375, a 750, and apparently it also comes in a big like 2-liter tournament, you know, size.
For the good golfers out there.
That's right, for all you golfers out there, right? So yeah, this is birdie juice, and I'll just, you know, we can pour in a little bit so you can see it is also quite the color though, quite the color.
Yeah.
This is a very sugary style. That means great. You make some birdies.
See, I don't make a lot of birdies, so typically this isn't really a thing for me. But 20%. So for those of you who are, you know, 7-8 around,
that's right.
You'll be okay.
Yeah,
all right, so we give it a go.
Let's give it a go.
Cheers.
Well,
that goes down easy.
It goes down pretty easy.
I don't know what I would say the flavor is. I'll trust your
it's
palate.
kind of it's pretty something. Well, you know, you think of birdie juice, people bring out things like, you know, the cinnamon whiskey,
yeah,
things
Fireball,
like that, Fireball,
Pink Whitney comes out every once in a while.
Pink Whitney, stuff like that. This is going right in there, but we're staying full on sugar. See, I'm saving Gregor here right now. He's not doing all these big sugary things, right?
Yeah,
go crazy.
Let me take this one.
That's
He
right.
can take the tough stuff. I'll
He'll
do
take
this
the tough stuff. You're taking the heat on this one. That's right. But it's got, it's interesting. You got a little bit of that like cough medicine thing going on.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, but kind of that, oh, you know, I get to stay home from sick school today, cough medicine. This one's not so bad.
Yeah.
This isn't your bad Buckley's. That's for sure.
No, this would definitely, like, we didn't go crazy or anything, but you could put that down pretty easily. I think.
Put that down pretty easy. Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Wouldn't deter me. Wouldn't,
That's right.
You know, maybe a little motivation to sink that putt, right?
That's right. That's right. And then next up, we got these. We have these buzz bombs. I don't know if you can see that in there. But this is there's some other products that are out there that some people might be aware of. But these are what we can get, and they're pretty cool. These buzz bombs, and we've got a Paloma, and we're also going to try the margarita. Their margarita madness, and this is their Paloma Palooza. So let's give it a go. It's the
All
pink
right.
one there. All right.
Smells nice.
Smells like a Paloma.
Yeah.
You know? It's grapefruity. Oh yeah,
that's not bad.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that at all.
I will say this tastes better than the other ones that people may have heard of.
Okay.
I had one way back in the day in Las Vegas, and I will tell you, had to leave the bar a little early.
A little early,
Like,
yeah.
The stomach pain, it was a little tough.
Yeah.
This is quite
It's
nice.
good. You know, I'm
actually.
impressed. It's not crazy sugary either, right?
Mhm.
And so yeah, I mean, you throw these on ice and just pull them out. You could drink it right out of the bomb if you wanted to. Throw it over ice if you
That's
wanted to
the
add a little
key.
bit more soda to cut down a little bit more of the sweetness to it.
Yeah.
Put a little, a little salt around the rim, or just a little pinch in there. You know, you got a great little cocktail all of a sudden.
100%. Yeah. Easy to carry around too.
Easy to carry around, and they're stackable. I don't know if you can stack these.
That matters.
That matters.
Yeah.
right.
It takes up space
Presentation is key.
in the cabinet. You
Well,
stack
in
them
the
on up.
cooler, you think about it, you can get a perfect row of probably four or five high in a cooler, right? So-
100%. I like it.
all right, let's go. Let's move on to this margarita madness now. And so this is just again just classic margarita. Oh,
That's good. That's one you could probably kind of use as a base as well, hypothetically, if you wanted to
hypothetically, yeah.
make it a little
Yeah.
stronger, make it maybe cut it a little bit if you want to, whatever
Yeah,
you want to go.
I'd probably want to cut that a little bit and
Yeah.
maybe add a fresh squeeze of real lime into it
Mhm.
as well.
Good start,
Would be
though.
it, but it's a great little start. Yeah, so nice and easy. You know, we're getting into those dog days of summer now, right? Those
Yeah.
last, we're having a great weekend coming up, so you need some fun things to have, and well, here's some great things for
Yeah,
it.
it's going to be a beautiful weekend too.
Gorgeous weekend. So these are perfect for that barbecue. And
That's
get
what you
together.
do. You show up and you bring these things. Now, are we going to get to the bag here?
We're gonna get to the bag now.
Okay, so you show up with this at the
You
barbecue.
show up to this at the barbecue. This
Everyone
is a
wants
boozy
in.
bag. Everyone's in boozy bags. This is a pink lemonade. Turn up the fun with our pink lemonade boozy bag. So I say it's fresh, citrusy, and ready to sip wherever your party takes you. And quite honestly, this is like super fun. They've been flying off the shelves. And yeah, so let's give it a go. Let's see if it lives up to the super fun.
On the back here, lemonade rose.
This is taking me back to my childhood.
Think of
right
my
here.
country time lemonade or something.
Country Time
Is that what
Lemonade.
it was?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
now what percent is that? Do you happen to?
well, it's 5% alcohol.
Yeah, so that's an easy
Right.
going one right there.
Easy going, for sure. Right. So yeah, this is, oh man, that's super great.
There's a challenge in there that I'm not going to recommend or anything, but
But but there is a challenge
with
in there
the
for
bag,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a big bag of beer.
It's like a big bag of beer. Yeah, it totally.
Like,
And it's
goes down easy.
Yeah, it's 1,000 milliliters. It's a liter. It's a liter. It's not. Wouldn't be the hardest challenge, I don't think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're not going to endorse it by.
We're
any
not going to
means, but
endorse by any means, but
we're just saying what everyone's thinking.
yeah, exactly.
That's a cool concept, though. I
So-
like that, and that went down very easy.
It goes down super easy, yeah. And we had a lot of fun making a post about this today, and so if you haven't checked our Instagram out,
Yeah,
had a good time with it.
it's on the
Yeah.
Jason Gregor Show story as well on Instagram. So you
Ah,
can
there
go
you
check
go.
it out there, and we'll get it up on Facebook also.
Yeah, right on. And so now we're going on. Now we're going into this is like this is the heavy hitter stuff. So this is Bowls that has this next one that comes in this fantastic tube here, and they have a whole bunch of different cocktails, and this is just one of them. But this is their Margarita Azul, and as when I poured this here, that was when you kind of paused at the beginning because
Yeah.
that is electric blue.
It caught my eye, and I was mid-liner, and I thought I got to stop and rethink about this one. It looks like a Powerade.
It
almost.
looks like, yeah, except like even deeper, right? Like that is insane blue on that sort of thing. But Bowls is a company that's been around for a long time. They make all sorts of. I mean, you think about any of your bar shots that you've ever had with all the different colorful stuff.
Yeah.
Bowls is probably who's made it all.
I thought that the name is familiar.
Yeah, and they also do a Genever, which is almost, it's a gin like, it's not gin at all. Yeah, great folk in Amsterdam and so on would get mad at us if we talked and called it gin, but it's a really cool company, and this is a Margarita Azul. This is a little bit more oomph to it, so it's 14.9%. But let's give it a go.
All right, let's
Well,
do it.
like it's like margarita, some blue curacao in there.
It's not bad at all.
No, it tastes like Kool-Aid.
It does.
Yeah,
A lot of
with
these,
a little bit of a kick to it.
A lot of these could be potentially birdie juice. You
A lot of these
you
could be
use
birdie
these
juice for sure.
For
yeah.
that, they all kind of go down easy. And
This one would
yeah.
be great with like over some soda water.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you wanted to really elevate it, you could put it into some prosecco or something like
There
that.
you go.
Sparkling white
Classy.
wine.
Probably make a very nice color.
Make a very beautiful color to that, right?
Charters powder
Yeah.
blue,
I'm
perhaps.
not sure what your tongue's going to look like after you drink a whole bunch of this stuff, but
Yeah.
you
That might be a concern.
it might be. But like one of those blue whales, so the candies, right?
Yeah.
That perfect garnish for something like this.
That's
So
it.
you can have a whole bunch of fun with these things, right?
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
Okay. And now what's this?
All
one?
right. Last but not least, my wife was really excited about this one here. This is the Bartender's Bananas I'm Over You. And it's a ready to drink dairy cream, fresh banana, fresh premium rum, banana, and some other natural flavors. And it, she's gonna make a slushy about this when we get home. She wants to give it a go. And so I imagine we're gonna be having a banana slushies when we get home
That
tonight.
sounds awesome.
But so let's give it a go. It's
When you look at it,
Oh.
like I don't know, I was a kid in the 90s.
Yeah.
When you got sick, you got like either the pink or the banana medicine.
That's right.
That's what this looks like. Kind of smells like it. So
Yeah.
we'll give it a go here.
There are pieces of banana in there. How does it?
I was gonna say that
Mhm.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
intentional. That was supposed to be that.
it's
Okay.
supposed to- that's why you can blend this up. It's thick. Supposed to be like this. It reminds me of Big League Chew. Ever get the Big League Chew?
Yeah.
Your kid, the big bag. You open it up, and it's the strings.
Yeah.
That's what it smells like to me.
It's good.
Yeah.
A
super
lot
fun.
of these, like I'm telling you, you show up at a party, you bring that, you pass it around, it's gonna be gone in no time.
Gone in no time.
Goes down easy.
Exactly. Like you can be the hero of the party. Show
Yeah.
up with some of these for sure. We've actually got one this weekend, a friend of ours' birthday party, and I think there's a couple of boozy bags already ready to go over there, and,
Yeah.
and so we're going to be having a lot of fun with it also.
One of those ones where you could say, "Okay, put your hand in and pull one out," and you'd stick your hand, and you're like, "I don't know what I'm touching, but
I don't know what I'm grabbing, but
okay,
that's right.
I got a boozy bag. There we go.
Super fun, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so there you go. Lots of great things, and again, all these things they're for fun, right? This isn't serious stuff, but it doesn't always have to be. And take these, enjoy it, go to a party. You could totally modify them a little bit if you want. Like I said,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people will love it just exactly the way it is, and others will need to cut the sweetness a little bit. And soda water is spectacular for that.
And you guys have more things like this in stock.
Exactly.
We couldn't drink it all. We'd be
no,
on our
that's right. And
backs,
there's all things coming and going all the time, with these sorts of things. But some other great options. I mean, they've got the Bulls one. They've got they've got a Negroni, I believe, and an old fashioned. And I think they're Geneva based.
Mm-hmm.
And then the F bombs. These are two that I know for sure that we've got right now. The bananas is brand new, so it was fun to give it a go here. It's going to make a great slushy later on today.
We had Trey texting in. Can we call it bogey juice for us not so good golfers?
Yeah,
There's a market
100%.
for that.
There's a market for the bogey juice, exactly.
The birdie juice, and then you have like the red bottle, the bogey juice.
The bogey juice, that's right.
And if you really just go par juice, double bogey,
triple
putt
yeah,
juice,
that's right.
Whatever it might be.
the triple bogey packs.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. I'm really good at those sometimes.
Yeah, me too. I'm golfing this weekend. We're doing our fantasy football order on the par 3 holes.
Oh, yeah.
So the chat has already been talking about. We got the birdie juice ready. We're good to go. Might have to stop in at Sherbrooke and grab a couple of these instead.
Come get a few of these. These are fantastic.
Change it up a little bit. So like you said, location, the Otwell location has all these.
Otwell's got everything right now. And then by Saturday, the OG store will have everything as well for sure.
Beautiful. Perfect way. Swing in there, then get out golfing. David, thanks a lot for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
There you go. David Owens of Sherbrooke Liquor. Every Thursday here at 2:40, we get into Thirsty Thursday. And I've been fortunate. The last couple of weeks have been quite nice, really. These ones are quite tasty. Check out on social media. Go to the Jason Gregor Show Instagram and Facebook. We'll make sure we put these up there so you can go check it out as well. Lots to get to still on the Jason Gregor Show, but right now let's get to a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Go Auto. Shop over 17,000 vehicles at goauto.ca with 31 new vehicle brands and 73 locations to choose from. Find your car at goauto.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Some news from around the sporting world is Green Bay Packers star running back Josh Jacobs charged with 2 misdemeanors, including battery and criminal damage to property. Connor Halley officially requesting a trade out of Winnipeg as the Jets star goaltender looks to move his career elsewhere, and the Raptors raise Kyle Lowry's number 7 to the Raptors on January 10th. MLB Finals today saw the Nats over the Rockies 7-1 and the Cards over the Orioles 7-5. Jays will be in action at 5:07 with Arrighetti on the mound. NFL preseason tonight at 5 o'clock, Steelers and Bills. Then at 6, Patriots and Browns, and 49ers Raiders. 8 o'clock, we'll see the Rams and the Chargers. Finally, in the WNBA, we have the Golden State Valkyries in New York to take on the Liberty at 6, and at 8, the Washington Mystics and Phoenix Mercury. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
Crispy, caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Tom Gazzola weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
you've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
Hi, thinking about switching vehicles? Think Subaru. The Subaru Crosstrek was named the 2026 Auto Trader Best Subcompact SUV. And once you drive it, you'll understand why. With impressive fuel efficiency, legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, and generous ground clearance, the Crosstrek is ready for your Monday commute and your Saturday adventure. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.49%. So, before you decide your next SUV, come experience the Crosstrek for yourself. Visit your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's 3:04. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Grand a day tonight. 20 years. That's $7.3 million. Get your ticket at PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, Lotto Max tomorrow, 10 mil. Then the Gold Ball Jackpot on Saturday night, 20 million. You can also check out the Jason Gregor Show specials. Boosted as usual. PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Still to come in this hour, we'll be joined by Colin Livingston of CanTorque. Also, we've got Zach Lane from Daily Faceoff Edmonton joining us. We'll talk a little bit about the Edmonton Oilers. The injuries also announced just a few minutes ago. Misha Donskov joining the Oilers as a coaching consultant, a long time with Hockey Canada. He's going to continue his role as Hockey Canada's Vice President of Hockey Operations and Nationals men's team coach while joining the Oilers in Edmonton for a select number of days each month. So, clearly a good hockey mind. He spent time with the Blue Jackets and Thrashers previously before moving to the OHL. Was part of Hockey Canada for the Olympics in 2026 and with the World Juniors as well. So there you go. That's obviously another good hockey mind joining the Oilers organization. Good things to see. Text line, a lot of questions about these drinks. Guys, IMAX says that Triple Bogey is a great beer. I had to look that one up. A Canadian-themed beverage for golf-inspired beers and ready-to-drink cocktails. Also, non-alcoholic options, which is good too. That's interesting. Best shot is a dirty Pepto. Half Bailey's, half Pepto-Bismol. Soothing from Bones. Deck, when you go out or when you went out and you were like getting some shots for the crew, what was the go-to for you guys?
Oh, I think just like tequila.
Just Cuervo.
Yeah. Keep it chalk.
Lime or no lime?
Yeah, lime.
See, I go no lime. I took a lime once and I felt worse.
Really?
Yeah, maybe I had a bad lime, but I
With
was just
the
like,
salt too.
You do the whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, not me.
Make it an event.
Toss
It's
it.
like we're shooting a music video.
Yeah, everyone together now. That sounds disgusting. Ugh. Pepto from Todd. That was my sound of the emoji he sent. Mackenzie, how about you guys? The crew goes out, you're buying around. Anything special, or you just like Deck?
A lot of Pink Whitney.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And Jaeger bombs. My stepdad is a big Jaeger guy, and I can't drink it anymore.
Is he like in his 50s?
Almost.
Sounds like he's
Almost?
31, man.
Well, no, because like my generation was Jaeger bombs. So I'm thinking like,
Yeah, he'll be 50 this year.
yeah,
I
okay.
think.
So yeah,
he's going to be so mad at me that I don't know.
Is he listening? Probably, maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe not. Well, either way, I was gonna say like people of my age range, I feel like Jaeger bombs was a thing.
Yeah.
Deck, did you do Jaeger bombs? You sounded a little grossed out by that one.
No, we did
did
Jaeger bombs. I don't mind a Jaeger bomb. I don't like now. I would dude. If I'm doing a Jaeger bomb, I'm doing it at 1 p.m. because there's no way I'm drinking a Red Bull past 2. But yeah, back then for sure.
Oh, warm Jaeger might be the worst thing there is. Like,
Dude, honestly, don't mind it. Like, obviously, way better chilled.
Yeah.
But don't mind it.
We used to go to Sylvan Lake, and there was a spot that had like the chilled Jaeger machine. Had to get one before leaving. Not driving, of course, getting your ride back, but like, let's grab a couple of those for the road.
Buck Wilds?
Maybe
That's
that was
like
it.
the spot in Sylvan.
Now, what if I was there at 3 p.m?
Yep.
That was it? Okay,
Yeah.
that might have been
They
it.
have like a huge patio,
Mhm.
and like all of the tables have built-in fire pits and stuff, like propane fire pits.
This was maybe before that then. I don't know. We would go inside, get a
Fair.
bite to eat, and then it'd be like, one last one, and then, why not? Maybe that turns into 2. You stay a little longer.
Different generations.
Yeah. We once went to Sylvan Lake with a buddy of mine. There was 3 of us that went out there, and we think he had this plan made up the whole time, but we had a couple drinks, went to the beach, hung out, had lunch, had a couple more drinks, and the one guy who was supposed to be our designated driver kept drinking. And then we got to about 4:00, and he said, if I pay for a hotel, you guys just want to stay? So we ended up staying the night, didn't have toothbrush, didn't have deodorant, didn't have anything. Good time, though. Sylvan Lake's a good spot. Trey says Jaeger bombs at Iron Horse. Yeah, one of my friends at the time got his face bit by a girl at Iron Horse. So interesting spot. Kyle, dropping the new haircut line. Good line. I don't see that's like a generational thing. I think a lot of people probably won't understand that one. IMAX says, first place I had the triple bogey was at Coal Creek 5 to 6 years ago. Only store that sold it was Sherbrooke. Well, not a surprise. Sherbrooke kind of does their thing. They got it all. A lot of these drinks are just kind of calling me. I'm trying to pass on to the people in the studio here. We'll see if they grab any. Text lines 1-833-401-1440. Of course, the news earlier today, Connor Halley formally putting it out there. I want to be traded. He wants to move on from the Winnipeg Jets. Obviously, this was something that had been brewing for a little while here, something that was private per the statement, and now they're going public with it. Gord Oil says, the more I think about it, the more Philadelphia sounds like a fit for Hellebuyck. That'd be interesting. I mean, that's a team, obviously, like the expectation has now been set. Playoffs. That's where they want to be. Top-tier goaltender, like he would help that quite a bit. Doug Jones says, this talk that Hellebuyck controls his destiny is ridiculous. Winnipeg is in control. He's under contract until 2031. If Winnipeg doesn't get what they want, he has to stay there and play till 2031 if they wanted to. Well, yes, of course. I mean, they could do that, but also Connor Hellebuyck can, like, if Winnipeg goes out there, finds a deal, he can shut it down. So, I mean, will they get to a point where it gets that difficult and Hellebuyck, is stopping deals? We'll have to see. It's very similar to Detroit. Like, at the end of the day, Doug, you're right. If Detroit says, we're not trading you, what do you want to do? You want to just not report? Don't play hockey? That's fine. But do they want to get to that point? I'm not quite sure. Zeke says, really easy for players demanding no trade clauses, and then they demand a trade as the general manager. My first thing I would say is if you want to trade, we wipe out the no trade completely, and you'll go wherever I trade you to. Zeke, I agree. I like, at least, if you want to find some like kind of spot in the middle, a 15 trade or 16 team trade list. Like, you have to give us at least half the league. We'll do our best to accommodate you, but none of this 3 teams, because then it's so much harder to get the job done. And those 3 teams know there's not that much competition there. They can try to lowball you. You're dealing from a position of weakness, and those GMs will try to take advantage of it. So I would be with you, Zeke, and I'd have no problem. I think a lot of people would probably agree with that. Like, if you're agreeing to a deal with a no trade, if it gets to that point and the relationship cannot be fixed and you demand a trade, like, open it up. You can't, none of this 3-team, 4 teams, like what happened with Dylan Larkin. Rod in the Valley says, could Dallas flip Otter for Hellbuck. Maybe. Let's see here. I'm curious. Like, I mean, I feel like we know that Hellbuck played in Texas for a bit. Would Ottinger want that? I just want to go check out his contract and see if he has a no movement clause, because I'm assuming he'd probably rather stay with the Dallas Stars. Obviously, a better team the last few years here. Good future. We know the benefits of living there. Yeah, Jake Ottinger has a no movement clause as well. And it's full no movement through 2031. So I would say the chances of that happening are 0. There's not a 10 team or anything like that. Ottinger, I would say, is probably going nowhere unless something really went downhill. But I don't foresee that happening. Slurpy Sean also chiming in just about the no trade clause. If you request the trade, should go out the window. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably would agree. Like, it just seems weird. Like, you're so committed to a team. You sign 7 years. They're paying you handsomely. You want that, security. You guys cannot trade me. And then all of a sudden you want to be traded, but you're only going to present 3 teams. You're making it pretty tough. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's a tough situation. I would love a modification in the next CBA where if you do that, fine. But it's going to be half the league. None of this 4-team stuff. Austin and Flin Flon says, how about a green tea? Jameson whiskey, peach schnapps, shake over ice with a shot of fresh lime. Almost sounds refreshing. Gladiators from Cowboys. Chester Fields. That's not the name we have in the system for you, but we'll change that up right now. Update it. Cowboys, what was a Gladiator? Was that the one in orange juice? I'm not sure, but I definitely had those, and probably had a couple from Cowboys back in the day. R.I.P. Mighty Cobra says, why would Dallas want Halley? Yeah, that's what I'm kind of with you. They got a pretty good goalie there. They got him locked up. They have him on a no movement clause. That might have just been a solution where Connor Hellbuck might want to go, but I don't foresee Dallas making that move, and I don't foresee any situation where Jake Ottinger would say time to move on. I don't think that's something that would happen. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. In case you guys did miss it, we brought it up earlier on in the hour here. The Edmonton Oilers adding Misha Donskov as a coaching consultant. Obviously, he's a big part of Hockey Canada, working with the national men's team, the junior team as well. Now, he's only going to be in Edmonton for certain days, each of the months. So I'm curious as to, what kind of role he will have, getting in there, offering some insight. He was an assistant with the Dallas Stars from 2023 till 2025. He was the Golden Knights director of hockey ops from 2016 to 2020, and an assistant coach from 2019 to 2023, where he did win a Stanley Cup. Mighty Cobra says Otter probably is a no move too. Yes, he does. Jake Ottinger has a full no movement clause. Hellebuck's next year turns into a modified 10 team. Otter does not have that. Jake Ottinger will be likely staying in Dallas the whole time. Has Hellebuck said how many teams he will go to from Jane Victoria? No, not yet. Like, we just got the statement from his agent who had put it out. I'll just see here if we can find it. Shovel Day Off. This is their statement to respond. Connor has been open with us about his desire for a change. He has been an important part of the Winnipeg Jets organization for many years, and we have tremendous respect for what he's accomplished here. While we will continue to work through a situation in a thoughtful manner, there is no update at this time. So, pretty stock answer. The statement from Connor Hellbuck read, Winnipeg has been my home for my entire NHL career. I will always be grateful for my time there. I've never forgotten June 23rd, 2012. That's the day Winnipeg took a chance on a goalie playing in Odessa, Texas. I gave everything I had from that moment to prove the Jets made the right decision. Several months ago, I privately requested a trade. I have tried to handle the situation quietly and respectfully while giving the organization time to explore options. With training camp approaching, I felt it was important to publicly confirm my request. My position has not changed, and I believe moving on is the best path forward for me and my family. I appreciate everything Winnipeg Jets fans have meant to me throughout my career and hope a resolution can be reached soon. Connor Hellbuck, Alpha Hockey. So we shall see. I'm curious to see how it works out in the next few weeks here. Does he hold out a camp? Does he show up at camp and, face the media? I'm sure he probably won't. Maybe the Jets PR does him a solid and keeps him away from talking to the media, but it's an interesting situation. Dave from Stoney says, how about the Avs? Well, the Avalanche could probably use a top-notch goalie. Now, we can probably say that about 28 teams around the NHL. They'd love to have his services. Do they have, what they can do to go out there and get it? Blackwood and Wedgwood, pretty good last year for them. I'm sure you got to make that phone call. Propane P says, Gary is going to insure his baby. The Gary Knights acquire Hellebuck. Well, they're in cap hell right now, and they have ways around it. LTAR can be their friend for a little while here. That being said, they'd be a tough move. I'd love to see a team say, you know what, we're going to look elsewhere. We'll try somewhere else for you. But like a few other teams, the Vegas Golden Knights, that would be a great landing spot for him, I would think. Your money goes a little further there, of course. And it'd be a competitive squad. Went to the Stanley Cup final. Just fell, obviously, to the Carolina Hurricanes. We'll take a break here. Lots to get to still on the Jason Gregor Show. Of course, Mark Spector will be by. We've got the stats of the day, Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. Jay Retcher of the Jay Retcher Podcast will join us to talk some Bucks and Lightning. Colin Livingston will be by in a few as we speed things up in the CanTorque Race Report. But up next, we will be joined by Zach Lang of Daily Faceoff. We'll talk some Oilers and a little more. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, hon, I'm getting expressions and images to frame my hockey card collection in the man cave.
Perfect. I'll come with you and bring our wedding photos.
For sports memorabilia and family treasures, think Expressions and Images, your local custom framer since 91. You name it, we frame it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your #1 air conditioning company. So when you can't take living in oppressive heat any longer, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If your hot, sticky sheets keep you up all night, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you've decided that you deserve to be cool and comfortable, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year, it could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one, yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting. But crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all sevens.
CanTorque has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at CanTorque.com.
The Chicken Parmy Burger. McExtreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them. You've screenshotted them. You've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think,
"Wow, great hair transplant."
I want them to think,
"Wow, great hair."
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Plus, variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
By PlayAlberta.ca, of course. Go check it out. PlayAlberta.ca, head to the sports section. Check out the Jason Gregor area. The specials boosted as usual. Connor Halley, Doug Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan. Right now, we'll get to the big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches taking you and your team or group to your next destination. Book your ride at silentrides.ca. We bring in Zach Lang from Daily Face-Off Edmonton. Zach, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well.
Oh, it's good to have you on the show here. Lots to take a look around. I know you're pretty versatile when it comes to the whole sports landscape. But let's start off with the Edmonton Oilers. The announcement just coming down here officially. We got the notification. The Oilers adding Misha Donskov as a coaching consultant. Obviously has a history with Hockey Canada. He was an assistant coach with the Vegas Golden Knights when they won their Stanley Cup here. So another good ad, I would think. A guy, they say in the press release here, he'll be spending just a certain amount of days in Edmonton with the team. He'll still be working with Hockey Canada. What were your thoughts about this addition?
Yeah, I think this is a really fascinating move. I mean, Misha Donskov is a guy who's kind of been rumored to be, somebody that teams have been looking at to become a head coach in the NHL here. Obviously doing great work over with the Hockey Canada team over there. But I think it's really fascinating. Gets him some experience with an NHL team here again in Edmonton. And it's interesting to see the news that we're seeing about the Oilers these days. So, one thing that I think is kind of really fascinating in this whole coaching situation for the Edmonton Oilers. This is something my colleague and I, Michael Menzies, have talked about, quite a bit between the two of us. We still haven't really heard about how long Mike Babcock's contract is with the Edmonton Oilers, right? We all know he was signed. He is going to be the new head coach, but we still don't know how long, that's going to be. And now, you not only have DJ Smith, a guy who has head coaching experience in the National Hockey League, but also now Misha Donskov joining the coaching staff with somebody who, could be an option down the road whenever Babcock's tenure is done with the Edmonton Oilers to take over behind the bench.
You brought up DJ Smith there, and when they spoke to the media, he was someone who really stood out to me. He kind of feels like he'll be that perfect, in between for Mike Babcock and the players. As you mentioned, has head coaching experience with the Ottawa Senators. Didn't necessarily go the best way, but then got to take over for a little bit with the LA Kings. How important do you think his role is going to be with the team this upcoming season?
Oh, I mean, I think it's going to be crucial. I mean, he's taking over, the defensive ranks of this team, and that's been an issue for the Oilers, the last couple of seasons here. Obviously, Paul Coffey did great work with the team kind of coming in, but, you look at what happened last year and the fact that Coffey had to rejoin the coaching staff coming out of the Olympic break. It was really an ugly look for this team and kind of an indictment of Mark Stewart and his inability to get the most out of this defensive group. Now with DJ Smith in there, I'm really intrigued to see what he can do with his team. He's talked highly of Evan Bouchard and Bouchard's ability to play. Obviously, he's going to be a key cog in this. Hopefully he can find a way to limit some of these, major mistakes that he makes, because the rest of Bouchard's game has really developed and flourished in a really nice way. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see the impact that Smith has on this team.
For sure, as we're joined here by Zach Lang of Daily Face-Off Edmonton on the Jason Gregor Show, Connor Halley sitting in. And we saw the reports from Ryan Rishaug yesterday kind of adding on top of the Oilers injury news that it looks like Matt Savoy and Freddie Anderson will be available late October. For Anderson, I guess that's an opportunity for the other goalies to take a step up here. But the Edmonton Oilers top six now missing a guy who I think others were expecting to take a bit of a jump. Who do you think kind of fills that void in the meantime?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Kind of makes me wonder if we see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins back up on the top line, with Connor McDavid and Zach Hyman. That's kind of where I'd been penciling in, Matt Savoy. And the fact that he's going to be missing training camp and, roughly a month of the regular season as well, that's really concerning. I mean, this is a time of year where you do not want to be behind the eight ball. And we've seen it time and time again when guys miss early parts of the season. It's really difficult for them to kind of find their game later on in the year. I mean, look at what happened with Jake Wallman last year. I think it's a great example, right? He misses time earlier in the season. He gets injured again, during the season, and he just never quite found his game. For Matt Savoy stepping into his sophomore season, that's a really tough uphill battle that he's going to have to face here to ensure that he's ready. Maybe him being much younger and still in his early 20s, maybe helps with the recovery time and his ability to bounce back a little bit quicker and a little bit better than maybe somebody like Wallman at 30, 31 years old does. But it's definitely disappointing. I mean, Savoy was a guy who, like I said, penciled in on the top line alongside McDavid and Hyman, was likely going to be a first over-the-board penalty killer for this team. The Oilers have kind of held tight with this $4.7 million in cap space. I'm going to be really curious to see if they end up flexing that a little bit here. We are getting into PTO season here. I know there's been a couple signed around the league, in the last day or two here. So we'll see what the Oilers have up their sleeves. But we're starting to get into hockey season here pretty quickly.
We had Yaremchuk on last week, and we kind of got into that little discussion about PTOs. Hey, on the Frenzy this morning, someone threw out the name Ryan Reeves. I don't know if I'd be going that route, but does anyone stand out to you as potential PTOs for the Oilers?
To be honest, I haven't really dug into it a whole lot here. I was actually off on vacation all of last week and gone the week before as well, working out of town. So I haven't been as tuned into that as maybe I'd want to be. But, one thing that I do kind of wonder about is, did they maybe look at bringing back Curtis Lazar? Mm-hmm. Right-handed shot center. He can kill penalties. He chipped in very minimal offense, but he was a really solid defensive player for this team and somebody that I thought, probably could have had more time on that fourth line. I think he's a guy who could certainly be an option, to bring it on a PTO. There's other guys out there too. Like I know Vladimir Tarasenko hasn't signed anywhere. Eli Tolvanen hasn't signed anywhere. I don't know if those are necessarily the guys that the Oilers are going to be looking for here, because it feels like they may want to find some depth guys who can kind of fill some of those, special teams roles on the penalty kill that Savoy was looking to do.
Zach, you kind of touched on Jake Wallman earlier there, and he's been a player that's been very fascinating. Obviously, has to stay healthy on that second pairing there with Connor Murphy. I feel like that's a really good stabilizing presence there for him, but got that big contract extension. And to me, it kind of seemed like it was early. I didn't know if there was as big of a rush. Obviously, his camp would have been eager to sign, but what are your hopes for him this season?
My hopes is that he can play an 82-game season for the Oilers. The brief time we saw him after the trade, 2 seasons ago was tremendous. A guy who was had some offensive punch, could move the puck up the ice, not afraid to throw his body around, at times maybe a little bit sloppy in his own zone, but a really effective puck mover. And I think he's somebody who can help balance Connor Murphy in a really big way. Murphy can really be that strong shut down, stay-at-home defenseman that the Oilers have kind of been looking for since Adam Larson left town, however many years ago now that it was. For Wallman, I think staying healthy is going to be the biggest thing for him, because that'll give him the opportunity to kind of play his game. And when he's on. He can be a really, really effective player. I do agree. I do think that they jumped the gun with that contract extension. $7 million isn't going to be the worst number in the world, especially with this rising cap that we have now in the NHL. It's really a whole different league. So, what $7 million today is, maybe it was 9.5 a couple of years ago. But I think that's a deal that, is going to keep him here for a while. So he's got to figure out a way to be able to remain on the ice for this Oilers team.
Zach Lang of Daily Faceoff Edmonton joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you today. Around the NHL, big story out of Winnipeg today. An unfortunate story for Jets fans is Connor Hellebuyck taking his private trade request public. It's kind of sparks a whole debate about a lot of different things. Americans wanting to play in Canada, the no movement clauses being handed out. What were your initial thoughts on this news? And are there any landing spots that you think make sense for both sides?
Yeah, definitely surprising to see it go public. There had been rumors earlier in the off season, but it kind of felt like, it was something that a lot of people kind of forgot about, but evidently he mustn't feel that the Jets are really serious about looking to move him. And who knows, maybe this opens up some teams to try and reach out to Winnipeg and get a deal done before the season starts. what I think is really interesting too with Hellebuck is if you look at the way that his contract is structured, he has a full no movement clause through the remainder of this season. But the final 4 years of his contract, it opens up to a 10-team approved trade list. So, certainly you'd imagine that those 10 teams, if it gets to that point, would all be, south of the 49th parallel. The Carolina Hurricanes were a team that were rumored to have, put in an offer for Hellebuck earlier in June. I think it was Frank Saravalli who had reported that, the deal surrounding Alexander Nikishin, a restricted free agent defenseman who the Hurricanes have yet to sign still. So, I kind of think Carolina makes a ton of sense. Like, they've got a ton of cap space right now. They are looking for, a guy who can be the guy in the crease. Obviously, losing Freddie Anderson probably stings a little bit. He was great for them through the start of the playoffs before he got hurt. Brandon Bussey is a great story, but, does he really have the ability to carry this Hurricanes team for a significant amount of time? Possibly, but I don't know if they're willing to bet on that. Peter Kochetkov has kind of been up and down and struggled, to kind of stay healthy and available for them. You look at them, they got a ton of cap space. They got tons of draft picks. They got a young defenseman that they could potentially move back in a deal. I think that would probably be the most likely landing spot that I would say right now for Connor Hellebuck.
Zach, if we were to turn our attention to the Edmonton Elks and the season that they've had this year so far, obviously 8-3 on their bye week, waiting for the Labor Day Classic with the Calgary Stampeders. I think we all thought they'd be improved, but I didn't see them being this improved and being where they are, top spot in the West. What has stood out to you so far the most for the Elks this season?
Man, it's been a really impressive season that they've had. I've had an absolute blast covering this team, for Oilersnation.ca, and watching the way that they've kind of come to, through training camp and into the regular season has been really impressive. Head coach Mark Killam is, a player's coach. You can see the way that he motivates these players to get ready every single week. And I think what's really impressed me most is just how complete this team has looked. In all three facets of the game, offensively, defensively, and on special teams, they're getting massive contributions on a weekly basis. Somebody stepping up, with a massive game, whether it's, the kicker Vincent Blanchard with a couple of walk-off field goals for the team this year to secure some big wins, whether it's Cody Fajardo, having an absolute shootout a couple of weeks ago and carrying the team, or whether it's the defense who lead the CFL in interceptions, finding big moments to kind of change the tide in games. It really feels like a cohesive unit, and I don't know if anybody was really expecting, this team to click the way that they have so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say for sure, I think I had playoff team, and I said not crossover. So that didn't necessarily mean hosting a playoff game, didn't mean a bye week, just getting into the postseason, and it's been fun to watch, and the fan support growing as the season rolls on here. I know you're a big Chicago Bears fan as well. That division mighty tough. How are you feeling about the Bears going into the year?
Oh man, the hype trains are rolling here. Let me tell you, I'm ready to roll. I mean, I'm really excited about this Bears team heading into this season. I think defensively, there's still some question marks, especially on the the defensive line and the linebacking group. I still think is a little bit on the weaker side. But if the secondary can stay healthy, that's going to be big for them. And then obviously the big story is going to be how this team is able to do offensively. Caleb Williams now stepping into his third year in the NFL. I think there's going to be a massive jump in his game this season. He really impressed me down the stretch run of the regular season last year and in the playoffs. Had a couple of really big games. They got some great young pieces around him. Luther Burden, looking like he's ready for a breakout season. Colston Loveland, the tight end, is looking like a guy who can be an absolute X factor for this team. But then there's still the big question mark around my boy Rome Odunze. He's dealt with foot injuries, last season that really hampered his game. So is he able to stay healthy? Is he able to get back to 100%? I know there's been some concern about that ankle or that foot problem he had sort of being something that might linger and change the way that he plays. So certainly concerning there, but with Ben Johnson at the helm, I'm very excited about what this team can do.
Now, are you a big fantasy football guy as well?
Oh yeah, big time. I've got my first draft of the year tonight. I've got another one on Sunday, and then we're trying to figure out the Nation Network HQ one sometime for next week as well.
So let me ask you this, as a Bears fan and a fantasy football fan as well, how do you feel about Odunze, Burden? Let's throw DeAndre Swift and Colston Loveland in there. Are those guys you're looking at selecting, or is there a little caution with them?
Yeah, I think there's some caution with some of these guys. I mean, when you look at a guy like Luther Burden, he hasn't really done it yet, right? So if you're drafting him in that 4th or 5th round where he's kind of projected right now, you're kind of hoping that he finds a way to really break out offensively this season, which I really do think he's in line for. Ben Johnson has talked about him kind of being the Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Chicago Bears, which is obviously something pretty exciting to hear. Colson Loveland, I feel good about him. I think he's going to get a ton of targets this season. A really solid grab, I think, in the 4th round, if you're in a full PPR league. I think the question that I start to have about, with Dunze is, is he healthy enough to really be a consistent contributor for your team? That's kind of my big concern. And I do wonder about, the touchdown upside for this receiving group as well. We've seen the Chicago Bears over the last 2 seasons here, and especially last season, with Ben Johnson at the helm, really love to run the ball inside the 10 or 15 yard line with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. So there's touchdown upside with this Chicago Bears team. The big question is kind of where is it going to go? Because it feels like there are so many weapons right now for Caleb Williams to choose from.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Rome Odunze down the stretch last year, I had him and Drake London, and those guys week to week caused me a lot of stress, whether or not to play them or not. I think I got burned by Drake London at one point as well. So good stuff there. Zach, thanks so much for joining us on the show today, and we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
There you go. Zach Lang from Daily Faceoff Edmonton. As we've been told by your Chuck, you just go to Oilersnation.com. It'll pop up. Yeah, that still works, so you can still take that route to get there. We will take a commercial break. When we come back, more text 1-833-401-1440, and we'll speed things up in the CanTorque Racing Report with Colin Livingston. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Thinking of growing your business? In partnership with Prairies Can, the Alberta Chambers of Commerce is helping businesses explore new opportunities, new markets, and build connections through organized trade missions across Canada. Find the right mission for you at abchamber.ca/trade missions.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
They're going all out to earn your business at Wolf GMC Buick. Right now, they're seriously overstocked on over 400 pieces of inventory on clearance and ready to move. See for yourself. Click on the clearance tab at wolfgmcbuick.com. And it gets even better. Employee pricing continues with huge cash discounts, 0% purchase financing, and low lease rates on select vehicles. Once again, see their website for details or stop in today. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Get the lowdown with Low Tide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton sports leader. Sports 1440.
Albertans love to debate the best way to enjoy summer sports.
No. Playing on the field is the best, man.
No way. Watching from the sidelines, way more relaxing.
You're both crazy. Checking out the game from the Bro Zone is where it's at.
But there's one thing every sports fan agrees on.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky.
Wherever you catch the action, load up on Alberta's best beef jerky.
Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
1 in 3 Canadians aren't getting enough sleep. Let the Brick help you sleep better for less. Save 40% on the Sealy Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get cheap starting at just $49. And buy one pillow, get the second one for just $10. Plus, take up to 55 months to pay with no interest and no money down. And with next day delivery in Edmonton, you can start sleeping better right away. Some conditions apply. OAC. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Ford employee pricing is on now. And you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
This summer, cheer on your favorite teams at Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge. Never a bad seat in the house with tons of big screens. Plus, Sully's Big League menu has it all. Small bites and big bites, game day food and drink features, something for everyone. From the gridiron to the diamond, this is the place to catch all the action all summer long. Sully's Sports Bar and Lounge at all 3 Century Casino locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Every day is game day at Century Casino.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Missioner Island Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring articulated dump trucks, backhoes, dozer, excavators, forklifts, graders, loaders, man lifts, packers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers. Info at maauctions.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country. For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. Helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pod lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's banana-y. 3:45. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here, rolling through the Thursday, August 27th edition of this show. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. Coming up still, talk some Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Lightning. We've got Spec on the program, Cam Tate's 2-minute warning, roundtable 5 questions, stats of the day. Lots to get to still, but right now we'll speed things up in the CanTorque Racing Report. Brought to you by CanTorque, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantorque.com as we bring in Colin Livingston. Colin, good afternoon.
Connor.
What's going on?
How are you, man?
Good. Good.
I feel like I ran my way over here. I had a little excursion through the mall and put me a little bit behind schedule, but so be it.
How is it out there?
It's busier than I was expecting, you know, kind of first day back at school, and I thought most of the kids would be gone, but she's still pretty packed.
The last few days have been crazy. My niece doesn't go back till Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
So, but then I've seen friends posting pictures of their kids going back today. So there's still some people doing back to school shopping, apparently.
When Mandy was getting ready this morning, I said to her something about when's the first day with kids, and she goes, today. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, didn't we just start summer? And I think she cried a little bit. And,
yeah.
But yeah, got to go back just, whatever it was, 10, 15 minutes, because the place in Sylvan Lake is the Driftwood. And, I don't care if we have to start a fight. That's the place to go.
So what is the drift? Because so we used to go to a place. I wish I had the names. There was one. It was like Chefs or something.
Okay.
Or Chiefs, maybe one of the two.
Chiefs. Yeah,
That was-
big chief.
That was like the evening place. But during the day, we went to some spot. It had a rooftop patio. It was like the best spot to go for a bite to eat before you went out to the water.
Well, to be fair, my friend owns Driftwood, but
Okay.
he's one of the smartest idiots I've ever met.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is we can get to levels of debauchery that are, pretty legendary. But at the same time, he's the guy that he knows how to solve pretty much every problem. He specializes in rotating equipment, so like turbines and compressors and things like that.
Okay.
Has been traveling the world, but to promote his business, he also bought a Harrier jet, like an actual Harrier jump jet that he was going to build engines for. Brought it, to a number of trade shows, but now the Harrier actually sits on display on the patio at the Driftwood. So
I'm seeing it right now.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
Yes, sir.
Nice patio. Okay, well, next time me and the boys decide to go out to Sylvan, that'll be the spot.
And it'll be the best Guinness you ever have outside of Ireland.
Really?
That 100%. Yeah. He's a UK guy. He knows how to, prep and clean the line so that everything is done to spec. So, having, had a number of Guinness in Ireland, I know the difference, but that's the spot. So sorry, Mac.
Now, what did you think about the banana beverage we had here?
It was a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, help yourself.
I shall.
You have to get a new glass because that's going to be like leave a little flavor in there.
I can rinse it after a night of karting. Like I'm a little bit beat up, so this is a little bit of pain relief.
What happened last night?
It was a mess, honestly. I've been on the verge of securing a championship now for the last couple weeks. Had a decent qualifying, just flat got beat. I made too many mistakes in my qualifying lap, so I could have probably started a little bit further forward, but that's the way it goes. Heat 1 was a bit of a mess. We had an aborted start, and then there was a bit of a discrepancy on our start-finish line. There's an LED board, so it'll give us, the lap count. So we normally start at 10 laps and count down. Our lap board went from 3 laps to go to 1 lap to go, but it counted the one to go twice. And some people kind of aborted their last lap. And, most of us who've been around for a bit, we know that until we see the checkered flag, we just keep going. And, if you do 1 extra lap, it's not a big deal, especially when you can show that was going on. But had some contact with another driver who, I don't think he was paying attention. He thought we were done. And I went to make a move. He heard me and then saw me. When he actually turned right into me, which didn't sit very well with me. Messed up my cart a little bit. Then second heat, my bumper came off. Not really sure how. One of the nuts that I spent a bunch of time on Tuesday night before the race servicing my stuff. I touched every nut and bolt on the cart, made sure everything was tight, everything was the way it was supposed to be, and somehow it just backed right out. And then while I was gonna make a big run in the final, my battery was dead. So another technical issue. It's not like I didn't charge it. I had some problems with it, and it just decided that it was gonna die. So it was really cool though. A couple of our listeners that were paying attention to the morning show, Pierre and Roland, came out and introduced themselves, and we spent a bunch of time hanging out. I kind of felt like a proper celebrity.
I was gonna say, because Pierre, I texted in yesterday. He was out at work watching you, and then he said, after he chatted with you for about 40 minutes, said thanks to Colin, gonna hopefully be back next week for the final event, and hopefully can see you win the championship.
I really, really appreciate them coming out because I've got these new helmets and they fit a little bit big, but after spending some time with these guys, my head's swollen a bit more, so they're going to fit a bit more properly. So I mean, mathematically, there's still a chance that my buddy Damon Shelamy can actually beat me. It would require him having an absolutely perfect night. So he would have to win pole position first in all 3 heats with the fastest lap and make the most passes in the final, because that's another 5 bonus points. If he does that, I lose by 3. If I get 0 points, or if I don't, I think I have to put up 186 points to tie that. And if that happens, then I win based on a count back, based on the number of wins I've had through the season. So in theory, it's done, but it's not done. There's still a chance.
Should you spin him out or something?
No. No, we
You're classier than that.
I don't know about that, but we've had, with both it's a father-son team of Damon and Troy. I think I've raced with Troy now 20 years. I think we've made contact once in 20 years. I don't believe I've ever made contact, or Damon's ever made contact with me. And that's absolutely not going to change next Wednesday.
Yeah, I would say so. That's you're above that. It's not your style.
It's not above or below. That's just not how we do it. Like, we always, while we're on the threshold of grip, we're never at the threshold of mentality where, we're going to take a really ridiculous chance for one position, knowing that you could get hurt, somebody else could get hurt, or you end up, and, plus they're customers of mine. So they run our CRG brand of cart. Well, that might be good for business to have to replace some stuff. That's, that's never, ever, ever the way that we want to go racing.
Good answer. Colin Livingston joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Is the CanTorque Race Report. Now, how about the Dutch Grand Prix? What happened?
It was pretty messy. They started the race. There was a bit of rain that hit before they went out. Didn't soak the track so much, but just made it damp. And there were obviously a couple areas that had some pooling water. Kind of surprising. Verstappen took himself out on the first lap going through the last corner. Kind of made 2 mistakes. Got a little bit too low and got back to the throttle a bit too early. Lost traction, turned himself up into the wall. It's really surprising because Max is typically the guy, between Max and say Lewis, they're the 2 best at driving in adverse conditions, driving in water. And what I haven't been able to figure out, I saw what he did, but what I don't understand is before the race, they do surveillance laps. They do recon laps. So they start on pit road. They can put on any tires they want. They do, the only place they don't drive is the front straightaway. So they come out of the pits, run around, they come through this corner that Max crashed at, and then they tuck back onto pit road. So he did a number of surveillance laps. They do a formation lap. So he would have seen where the trouble was. He would have known exactly where you don't want to go. And somehow he put his car there. It's beyond uncharacteristic for him to make that mistake.
Does that happen often with other drivers? Or is that just like in general, something that's kind of rare to see?
That they make a mistake like that?
Well, yeah. To know this is where you want to avoid, and then during the race it happens.
Once you get into the race, anything can happen, and sometimes even the best, their memory slips. You can have the best of intentions, but you're not so much thinking about driving the perfect line once you get into the race. You're trying to figure out where you're going to pass the next guy, or where you're going to kind of block the guy behind you. That being said, again, it's just very uncharacteristic of Max, and unfortunately this was the last Dutch Grand Prix, his home race. So, he wasn't able to go out with the bang. But even with that, I don't think they had the pace to compete, but it sure would have been nice for him to finish.
Now off for a couple of weeks before Spain?
Just this weekend, and then Monza.
Okay.
Yeah, next weekend.
Looking forward to it?
No, because Monza's going to be, I think it's going to be the biggest test of this new 50-50, hybrid system, because Monza is almost all wide open throttle. There's, 2 chicanes and, a couple big sweeping curves. So, this is the track where an F1 car is going to spend the most amount of time at wide open throttle, which means there's not going to be time to recharge the battery. So they're going to be spending a lot of the lap time with half power, or just over half power. So depending on how drivers manage and deploy and recharge and all this other goofy nonsense, there could be a bunch of these seesaw passes where you go back and forth depending on where you're at in your charge state, but I don't think it's going to be a great race. I've said that a few times this year and I've been wrong, so I'm hoping I'm wrong, because we need to start seeing some decent racing for a change, and away from these team orders of Ferrari and Mercedes and all this stuff that we're seeing teams fight. But yeah, I mean, it'd just be good to have like a proper slugfest between, say, Norris, Antonelli, and Hamilton, the top three of the top three kind of thing, and see who can come out on top.
Now, for NASCAR with tags on Saturday, heading out to Montreal?
Yes, sir.
When do you fly out tomorrow then?
Yeah, this is going to be, we're in such a busy stretch. Like we did, I had last weekend off, but we did the 2 weekends before that in Quebec and then Markham. But now we start 3 weeks in a row. So, normally I'd go out kind of early on Friday. We'd hang out. I'd fly back kind of midday Sunday. But yeah, I fly out tomorrow afternoon. I don't remember what time we have to be at the track, probably 9-10 o'clock in the morning. The green flag is at 5:30, which means we should be done about 7. I'm going to have a car waiting to take me straight to the airport for a 9:30 flight.
Oh, really?
And then right back home Saturday night. I'm going to go out to the track on Sunday and, make sure that every damn bolt, every bloody thing on my cart is as good as possible, and try and be ready for next Wednesday. But yeah, we've got a big race to win on Saturday at Circuit Icar.
Next Wednesday, that's a big one then. Hey,
next Wednesday's it.
That's it.
That's the last our last race of the karting season. Yeah, and again, it's not the championship is really neither here nor there. It'd be cool to have that, but considering last year I could hardly walk after an injury in Europe, where I really damaged my ankle, my knee, and my shoulder, I was just happy to be able to put in a full season.
Yeah.
So no matter what happens next week, 6 wins, 6 nights with the fastest lap. There's nothing I would look back at this year and change a thing. So, while it's likely the outcome is pretty much set in stone, no matter what, if on that day you get beat by a driver who manages to put together a perfect night when they need to put in a perfect night, you tip your hat, and and then we'll have a number of pulls off the champagne bottle, and there's some good tequila waiting that I picked up from Mr. Owens at Sherbrooke the other day, and yeah, I mean, and then really start looking forward to a couple of down weeks. I've already made the plan with my trainer that normally I visit him Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I said I'm going to take 4 Wednesdays off, and I'm going to book massages. I'm going to try and work some of these muscles out, and and then try and get back into some heavy training so that, at the very least, this geriatric old body that would never drink a Jaeger bomb, even though that seems to be the age demographic you guys have assigned to us.
And me, I'm in there too.
I'll never touch Red Bull again. I guess that's a story for another time, but no, never, ever, ever.
Well, hopefully maybe we'll have to get Dave to bring something special in for Thirsty Thursday to celebrate.
I've already got the 3 samples. Like he set aside 3 tequila samples from when they did that. I don't know, it was probably a month ago.
Yeah.
And it took that long for me to get over. David, he owes me nothing. I always appreciate the thought, but it's such a cool store. Like I loved that place long before Thirsty Thursday was a thing. We used to go in there because they had over 500 types of beer. And that was when I was a big beer drinker before, I figured out that I like beer more than it likes me. But yeah, just to go in there and to get, it doesn't matter what your flavor is. If it's a tequila, they'll have something you've never seen before. If it's vodka, if it's brandy, if it's, their wine selection is crazy. So it's, nice that it's like 5 minutes from my shop, and and you don't have to talk to David or Steven, anybody in there. The cashier yesterday was ringing up a lady who bought 12 bottles of wine, and they were having a conversation about, another spirit that was very, very in depth. It's always fascinating.
I will say there was a legacy about that place. I was like, oh, you got to go to Sherbrooke. Like for a long time, like, Well, I'm just gonna get a 6-pack of Canadian. This is young Connor. Like I'm okay. And then you get a little bit older, and it's like, okay, let's go there and let's get something a little bit better. So you nailed it on the head there, Colin. Well, thanks for doing this. Good luck Wednesday, and we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Hopefully, we see a few more folks out.
100%. That's Colin Livingston with the CanTorque Race Report. Right now, we'll get to a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Hire Good. We solve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. Go to hiregood.ca. Hire Good, stable jobs, create stable lives.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
MLB scores around the league. 2 finals today. So the Cards over the Orioles 7-5 and the Nats over the Rockies 7-1. Jays will be in action at 5:07 as they play host to the Royals. Arrighetti on the mound in that one. Astros and Yankees the next game on the schedule at 5:05. No Canada today in the Little League World Series, but it was Japan over Nicaragua 4-1 and Ohio over Iowa 7-1. WNBA action sees 2 games, Valkyries and Liberty at 6 and Mystics and Mercury at 8. NFL preseason gets going at 5 with the Steelers and the Bills, Rams and Chargers at 8 and 2 games at 6 o'clock. Pats and Browns, as well as Niners and Raiders. From around the sporting world, Packers running back Josh Jacobs charged with 2 misdemeanors, while the Toronto Raptors set to raise Kyle Lowry's number 7 to the Raptors on January 10th. And in the NHL, Connor Halley officially requesting a trade out of Winnipeg. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440. Stingray Radio Station. CHJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Crispy caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATV Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATV Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour America's commemorative gift. Get yours at atvclassic.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more breaking down the green and the gold. The most in-depth W football coverage online, elksnation.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Tonight, Daily Grand. Tomorrow, Lotto Max, $10 million. And then Saturday, it is the Lotto 649 Gold Ball Jackpot, $20 million. Go get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. And remember, check out the sports section, the Jason Gregor Show daily specials. Always boosted. We got Deck Selects. We got some MLB, some NFL preseason tonight if you're feeling that. PlayAlberta.ca. Remember to use your game sense. Right now, we will get to the roundtable brought to you by Go Auto, who's donated more than $27.2 million to local charities and takes pride in supporting the communities where they live and do business. GoAuto.ca. Declan, McKenzie, the mics are yours.
You lead us off, Mac.
All right. Mine, obviously not the biggest news in the NHL today, but it was big for about a couple hours that Elliot Friedman said that Cale Makar is nearing a contract extension with the Avs and it's going to be a biggie. So my question is, can you see him being the highest paid NHL player?
Yes.
Does he deserve it?
Oh, sorry. Thought we were done.
And if so, what would you pay him?
I can see him being the highest paid NHL player just because it's how the market works itself out. Like, he may not be the best, he may not be the most deserving, but if you get there when the time is right, you get the biggest money. We saw it with Kirill Kaprizov. We've seen it with Leo Carlsson, and this is a guy who I think adds more value at his position than those two, and just quite bluntly, better overall player. So I absolutely could see it. I personally would not pay him $20 million a year, but I wouldn't be shocked if that AAV starts with a 2 and the Colorado Avalanche give him that AAV starting with a 2. And then what was the final part of the question?
I think that was it.
Does he deserve it? I mean, deserve is such a tough one. It's like I said with the first thing, like the market, dictates what you get when you get. You just got to get there at the right time. And I always turn it back to this. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, I think it was the summer of 2015, Mike Connolly, great player for the Memphis Grizzlies, had never made a all-star game, anything like that, but had some good career averages, nothing outstanding. Got a 5-year, $150 million contract just because that was when the cap really jumped like that. And I remember people being like, myself included, how does this guy get $30 million a year? Like, sometimes you strike while the iron's hot. Cale Makar, obviously better than any of the guys I just mentioned, but I think he'll be in that situation. So I do think he'll probably become the highest paid player.
Yeah, I mean, and Declan, you can take it back to hockey. Like when Darnell Nurse signed his deal, and that was the contracts that were going out there with Seth Jones, Zach Werenski. That was just the number that was being paid, and that's kind of where he fell into. Take it to the NFL. Anytime a quarterback has moderate success in that final contract year, you have to pay him. Tua Tagovailoa. Did he deserve that contract? Well, I don't think so. I think probably should have been a little bit lower than what he came in for the Miami Dolphins, but had a good year. That was the kind of the age range or the number range where it was going, so it kind of made sense. I do think he will capitalize and be the highest paid. I think he'll surpass the 18.8 that Malcolm Celebrini gets next season. Leo Carlsson this year at 18. I don't know how long it lasts because Connor McDavid's going to get a new contract soon, but it would not surprise me at all to see $20 million for Cale Makar. We know how good he is with a puck on his stick. He plays a lot of minutes. He's out there in all the situations. So, yeah, I would agree with you guys. It's going to be a biggie. I'm going to say like 19 mil minimum.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll get up into that 20 million range.
I could see it. I really could, especially with how the cap is going and just how much everybody's been paid this summer.
Someone worked it out. Like the percentage of cap that Leo Carlsson got at 18 million versus Crosby when he signed at 18.7. It's like fractionally bigger. Like
It's a
we're talking
percent
like
off.
like tenths of a percent.
Yeah, it's like
even.
15
No.
something to 16.
Yeah, like now, granted, not as good of a player as Sidney Crosby, obviously, and I'm not saying Cale Makar is Sidney Crosby either, because I think Sidney Crosby is absolutely one of the elite players in league history. But Cale Makar is certainly more in that mold than Leo Carlsson, and that was the deal Leo Carlsson got. So, is it my turn?
Yeah, go ahead.
My topic I wanted to bring to you guys is I think the idea of Americans requesting trades little overblown. We have some obviously recent examples with it, with Brady Tkachuk wanted to go play with his brother. Dylan Larkin wants out of Detroit, still there, by the way. And now Connor Hellebuck in Winnipeg. But like, I get that there's a bit of a recency bias to this, and I get that this is on the back of NHL players being able to return to the Olympics, and so there's now some camaraderie with their fellow countrymen. They obviously win the gold medal. I can point to examples over the years of Canadians doing this as well. And by the way, there is a Canadian who was playing on an NHL team, who was in a Stanley Cup window with two of the top 5 best players in the world, whose weddings he was groomsman in both, who just requested a trade out of here. So to act like this is now, yeah, obviously 3-1 in terms of these 4 recent examples. It's happened with it's happened for more Americans, I guess, but I think it's a little overblown.
Your counterpoint is Darnell Nurse?
Well, I mean, just recently,
Guy gets cooked daily on radio stations.
okay,
and social
I'm sure
media.
Connor Hellebuck's getting cooked daily
Yeah.
too in Winnipeg. Like that's the point I'm making. Like it's not specific to being American or Canadian. Like you think first of all, Connor Hellebuck's about 15 times the player Darnell Nurse is.
Yeah.
He's been the reason, in large part, that Winnipeg has not had success in the playoffs. You outlined some of the numbers in the opening segment. Like he just happens to be born south of an imaginary line we all made up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I get what you're saying, because I think like to say it's just Americans would be not accurate, because it goes both ways with these sorts of things. But as of late, we're seeing it from Canadian teams to American, and Brady Tkachuk, obviously, Hellebuck. We saw with Dylan Larkin. He wants to get moved as well. Matthew Tkachuk going back to a few years ago as well.
didn't request it though.
Well, informed the Flames he wasn't re-signing, essentially. So that was like a polite way to do it, I think. Like, I'm not coming back here. You can get me for something, or you can lose me for nothing. Make your decision. But maybe not a formal one. Also, we had the number. What was Hellebuck's deal? That was less than Darnell Nurse, isn't it?
Yep. I think it's 8-5.
8-5 versus 9-2-5. So a little more for Darnell. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I think if you were born in the States and you're playing hockey and like you get the option to go back down to a place where you're not living in a fishbowl, like it's for a long time we've noted the downsides of playing in Canada, right? You are monitored a whole lot more. There's a little bit more pressure on you. Like I've said for a long time, if I was at a certain point in my NHL career and I could go play in Anaheim where nobody knows me, I just make good money, versus playing in a place where you're always being needled and your games being picked apart. Like I understand why players at some point do want to go to a different spot. So yeah, I'm like 90% with you, Deck. Like I think it is being overblown, but I think there is a little bit of, fact in it as well.
Yeah, I think there is a little bit of fact, because we have players with podcasts that are essentially talking about going to other teams when they're in a Canadian market with their brother and their dad. Like, it's hard to not have the view that like, okay, all of these American guys just want to get out of Canada because of how we all are getting our news, if that makes sense. Not our news, but we're getting the information. And with them being like, I don't want to be in a fishbowl, I just want to go somewhere where I can play and not be scrutinized. It's such a wah take to me, because MLB players, if you go to LA, New York, any of those big markets, it's twice the scrutiny that these guys are getting. And I don't see any of them complaining about it. And soccer players, the way they get scrutinized is 10 times the level that they do in the NHL. So it is partially like, I think like 60-40 in my opinion, but it's hard to not have that recency bias.
Yeah, like you're saying, like these guys are going to play for the Barcelonas or the Real Madrid, where
Yeah.
the scrutiny is going to be there, but like pressure is privilege.
Works a
Yeah.
lot differently in soccer. I know that's not the argument
I know,
we're working on,
I
but
know,
just
but,
Well,
like,
then take baseball. The Yankees, Dodgers, those teams have no problem recruiting free
Yeah.
agents. That being said, summer sport, you're not dealing with the cold winters.
I guess.
Maybe that plays a little bit into it. Have you noticed it in the NBA deck with the Raptors? Because Gilbert Arenas said,
Oh, yeah.
2019 going back, like guys don't want to go there. I think it was Patrick Patterson back in the day. I think he had an article about
in the Players
in
Tribune.
the Players
No.
Tribune about how
Yeah.
he like going there kind of changed his mind. Like he just heard bad things about it. Then you get there and it's like, oh, I was walking down the street. Someone helped me go buy a jacket. The people there are amazing, and you change your outlook on it. But
Yeah, it's very real. Like in the NBA, players absolutely do not want to play in Toronto.
I get it, man. It's cold up here. It's also cold in Minnesota, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Just like my thing, I don't like to just put a bow on it and wrap it all up. Like when Danny Heatley wanted out of Ottawa, or like PLD wanted out of Columbus, or Ryan O'Reilly wanted out of Buffalo, or Chris Pronger wanted out of here. Were we talking about like, ooh, those Canadians? Like that was never the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, this is more recent, and I do think, to your guys' credit and to everyone's credit, really, surrounding the narrative, like we are going to trend more towards this, and it's probably going to become more of a thing. And obviously, I think the player movement or player control, I should say, with no moves and no trades, that's just going to empower player movement and player kind of dictation. But like it was never the narrative when a Canadian wanted to do it. And there are multiple examples of Canadians wanting to do this and requesting trades. But now that it's Americans, like that's the narrative. And I do think there's credence to why, and the patriotism and all that. I'm not saying that doesn't exist. I just, like I said, I think it's just a touch overblown.
Yeah. I mean, I still think you get guys who are American and end up playing in Canada and embrace it. For how long, we'll see. Like, does Austin Matthews at some point say, I want out? Like, are we going to get to that point? Cole Caulfield with the Montreal Canadiens, another good young player, American. Is he going to stay here? Because, like, we know, like, it's kind of that double-edged sword. You can be, well, then it's a double-edged sword, but you can be just roasted for having your struggles here. But if you succeed in Canada, you're a legend forever, right? Like, if you win a cup in Montreal or Toronto, you are a king. You're never buying a beer there for the rest of your life. So
Also, with Cole Caulfield, just saying he wasn't on that Olympic men's team, so he's not in that group chat, so he's not getting the same influence potentially.
the pro America.
Potentially.
Text here, no name, tax, climate, personal freedoms, societal norms, and it's home. Yeah. I mean, the tax one's interesting because California is a very highly taxed state. I was looking into it, like just like at its face, when you just calculate the taxes in California versus Nevada, I mean, it is crazy how much different it is. But I understand that's a little bit of the advantage that they have here. Well, good topics, guys. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to go down to Florida, talk to a Florida man about the Bucks and the Lightning. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Day or night, tasting just the right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
Summit Restaurant, located in the heart of the Silent Ice Center and just minutes from South Edmonton Common. Summit is your destination for exceptional house-made pizza, delicious entrees, and expertly crafted cocktails. Cheers! Experience the perfect blend of flavor and ambiance in a modern setting. Join us for a straightforward yet elevated dining experience where our commitment to quality speaks to every bite and sip. Make Summit Restaurant your next night on the town.
1 in 3 Canadians aren't getting enough sleep. Let the Brick help you sleep better for less. Save 40% on the Steely Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get sheets starting at just $49. And buy one pillow, get the second for just $10. Plus, take up to 55 months to pay with no interest and no money down. And with next day delivery in Edmonton, you can start sleeping better right away. Some conditions apply. OAC. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Big guests, bigger takes. Jason Gregor brings the names you know and the stories you don't. Weekdays, 2 to 6 on Sports 1440. Don't miss a minute of the action on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Lux Windows was founded in 1969 with 5 people and a dream. 55 years later, our team of experts cares a whole lot about building and installing the best possible windows and doors. Because Lux is not just an Alberta-made product. We're one big Alberta-made family. Everything we are is windows and doors. A company born and bred and made in Alberta.
Edmonton, thinking about your next SUV? Think Subaru. The Subaru Forester has earned an IIHS top safety pick or higher for 20 years in a row. Add legendary Subaru symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and the 2026 JD Power Canada Best Residual Value Award among compact SUVs, and you've got an SUV that's built to protect today and hold its value tomorrow. This month, take advantage of loyalty rates as low as 0.99%. Come test drive the Forester at your local Subaru dealership today. Welcome to Uncommon.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. OTR celebrating 20 years on Jasper Ave. Join them Friday, September 18th to celebrate 2 decades of fun with Whale on the Wolf on stage. Book your table at ontherocksyag.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
423, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Connor Halley, Duncan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here on the AM dial. We're streaming on Radio Player Canada. Tune in, iHeart. Also, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, it's Sports 1440 AM. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button right now. We'll get to the NFL report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Legacy Heating and Cooling, the home of the no payment, no interest for 1 year on your furnace or AC. Bundle them together and save more at legacyheating.ca, as we are going to talk a little NFL football and maybe a little bit more here with Jay Retcher of the Jay Retcher podcast. Jay, good evening. How you doing today?
I'm great, man. How you doing, boss?
Oh, doing really good. Glad to have you back on the show here to talk a little Tampa Bay sports and the Buccaneers this year. A changing of the guard a little bit here. No Mike Evans. That feels a little bit weird for the Buccaneers, but some nice depth pieces to step up potentially. First thing I want to get to, though, the whole Baker Mayfield contract negotiation. I don't know what the problem is here. Is it, term? Maybe it's money per year. But what do you think the issue is? What's the holdup, and when will it get solved?
Yeah, I don't know if it's something that's going to get, kind of resolved before the season starts, but he's the kind of guy that plays better with a chip on his shoulder, right? So he thinks that he's, he deserves a certain amount and a certain length of the deal, and he's not going to get that, I don't think, before the season. But I think that bodes well for the Buccaneers because we've seen in the past when he is playing like his hair's on fire and he's got something to prove. That's, I think, when Baker Mayfield's at his best. So I don't think it's any cause for concern, and he's going to have to play out this year and then let the chips fall where they may, and we'll see what happens at the end of the season.
Great point. He certainly, when he's playing with a chip on his shoulder, does tend to elevate his game. In that backfield, Bucky Irving, the guy, Kenny Gainwell comes over from Pittsburgh. What do you like of that duo of running backs?
I think Kenny Gainwell really is the key when you think about what he was able to do last year for Pittsburgh, 73 receptions out of the backfield. Do I think he's going to get that many this year? No, but I think he's going to be utilized in this offense under new OC Zach Robinson in a multitude of ways where he's either spelling Bucky, he can play alongside him, or maybe split out wide and help out the receivers as well. So that may cut into like a fantasy value for a guy like Bucky Irving, but I think when you look at this offense, you have a lot of weapons. You just alluded to Mike Evans not being there anymore. I think having a kind of jack of all trades, a Swiss Army knife like Kenny Gainwell can certainly help.
You talk about the new offensive coordinator with Zach Robinson coming over, obviously following the Shanahan system. Then Sean McVay goes to the Falcons, now at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What have you noticed maybe different in this offense this season?
Well, it's still it's tough to tell early on, right? Because they're not going to show their complete hand. They're not going to show what this offense is going to look like. I know one of the areas of concern that a lot of fans had was that they ran a lot of pistol out in Atlanta, and a lot of that had to do with Kirk Cousins coming off the injury and also Michael Penix playing a lot out of the shotgun coming out of college, out of Indiana and Washington. We're hearing that it's going to be a multitude of different offenses. I don't think we'll see as much of the pistol as they did in Atlanta, but I think that's the big thing with this offense, staying multifaceted and being able to spread the football around, kind of going back to what we were talking about with Baker Mayfield. When he's not just keyed in on one guy and you can utilize all the weapons that he has in this offense, that's when he and this Bucs offense are going to be at its best.
Jay Retro of the Jay Retro podcast joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. We talked about one half of kind of the stable of receivers leaving and Mike Evans going to San Francisco. Chris Godwin's still there. Emeka Egbuka, that was a guy who I just kind of penciled in for 80 receptions, 1,100 yards, 7 to 8 touchdowns every year. He just seemed like he'd be a very good fit when he was drafted last year in the first round. Jalen McMillan, also another guy. Tez Johnson. This group without Mike Evans, who do you think kind of takes over, and do you think they'll get the job done?
Well, there's one big name that's been making a splash in preseason and training camp, and that's Ted Hurst. I mean, keep an eye out for this kid. He's big. He can run. He's developed a really good rapport regardless of the quarterback that's under center for the Buccaneers. So this is going to be you're never going to replace what Mike Evans has done on the field nor off the field. But when you have a guy like Chris Godwin who has a Super Bowl championship on his resume, a guy like Emeka Egbuka who's wise beyond his years, and you just alluded to Jalen McMillan and Tez Johnson as well with the speed that can hit you over the top. Keep an eye out. You're looking for kind of under-the-radar sleeper picks. Keep an eye out for Ted Hurst because he's got the size and the jump ball ability to help out this Buccaneers team on third down and also in the red zone.
Jay, going back to the draft process, I mean, we watched Ruben Bain Jr. fall somehow, and we thought he'd be one of the top 3 picks in the draft. And then, we've heard it a lot of times where we look at these prospects so much, and then instead of pointing out all the good they do, people just try to find the negatives, and they talk about the short arms and he can't play that position. That does not seem to be the case from what we've seen in the preseason and at training camp. Plus, you're seeing these videos of him working out after practice, just working on the technique, working on the pass rush moves. What have you seen from his game, and are you expecting it to translate immediately with on-field success?
Yeah, he just seems like a special guy and a guy that plays. And if you saw the video of the night he got drafted when he didn't pose for the picture, he just took the hat and kept it moving and went on over to Roger Goodell, shook hands, and did the obligatory picture that everybody does on draft night. That's the same kind of mindset that this kid has pretty much day in and day out when he's getting ready to, perform every single day at training camp. And you see it. He's a guy that's out there. He's not doing it for the camera. I've heard a couple of people say, he's just doing it because, there's people filming him. It doesn't matter if there was one person there, 100 or nobody. He's out there long after everybody else has gone inside. This is a kid that's trying to perfect his craft. We talked about chip on the shoulder, discussing Baker Mayfield. Ruben Bain knows every single one of those teams that passed on him in the first round. And I think any of those teams that the Buccaneers are playing this season, he's got that circled on the calendar, and he's going to make them pay.
And it looks like could be another potential rookie joining him in the starting lineup with Josiah Trotter out of Missouri. What does he look like at camp playing the linebacker spot?
He's a guy that, he's a thumper. He's a downhill guy, but he's been making some plays in the pass protection or the pass coverage game as well. Big interception and joint practices against the Jacksonville Jaguars here the last couple of days. And I'm a big fan of legacy picks. If you know what it entails to be a professional athlete, to be an NFL player, we saw it here with Antoine Winfield Jr. when he was a rookie back in 2020. I think this kid is destined for success, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts alongside Alex Anzalone week 1 against Cincinnati.
Man, Antoine Winfield Jr., great player. His dad was so good for me in defensive individual defensive players, fantasy football. That guy used to just rack up the tackles. He was very good, I think, with the Vikings and then the Bills maybe. But yeah, there's some fun players on this Bucks defense. And a couple more I want to ask you about. Well, Vita Vea, I mean, I thought for sure he'd be on the move the way things were going here, saying, you know, California or Nevada, maybe where he'd like to end up. But the Bucks, I think, do the right thing. They pay the man. They give him $30 million to keep him around for another year. Do we think that translates into more of a long-term deal, kind of fixes just the issues they might have had? Or could it be potential free agency down the road?
No, I think this is just one of those things where he wants to get rewarded and treated like one of the top 5 guys at the interior D-line position. And this is a guy that's done many great things and played many great years for the Buccaneers, also part of that Super Bowl winning team. This isn't a Connor Halley situation where he wanted out of town. I think he wanted to get compensated fairly for guys at that position. So sign for this year, sign for next year, and then we'll see how it goes. I mean, the Buccaneers aren't really in the business of giving long-term contracts to guys on the other side of 30. Could it be he'll do one-year deals after that, like we saw with Levante David, who just retired in the offseason? I think that's a lot more likely. He loves it here. And, you know, Todd Bowles, this defense is really centered around 50 in the middle, clogging up and occupying 2 offensive linemen. So it worked out for everybody, and no sour grapes, no negativity going forward.
You brought up Levante David just retiring. Is he like the most underrated player in NFL history? Because it feels like he was just putting up year after year big numbers with the Buccaneers, but never really got to shine.
No, I mean, you look at the numbers and you look at tackles, interceptions, sacks. It's incredible. I mean, you're comparing him to guys like Luke Kuechly and Bobby Wagner and Fred Warner over the last 10, 15 years. I always said that, you know, if the Super Bowl with Tom Brady happened in the beginning of his career rather than the end of his career, he would have been in the spotlight a lot more often, and I think he would have gotten more of those accolades, whether it was Pro Bowl or All-Pro. Unfortunately for him, it didn't happen like that, but I don't know, man. You look at those numbers, they look pretty favorably when you compare them to the other guys that'll be in Canton wearing gold jackets one day.
100%, 1,700 tackles. And, you know, I'll be the first to admit tackles, I think, can be an overrated statistic, but 42 sacks, 32 forced fumbles, 14 interceptions, 3 scores. I'll take that any day on my football team as we're looking at the Buccaneers with Jay Retter. Jay, just looking at this division, I want to get your thoughts on it because I've said a few times that I think that this division, you could make an argument for any team, and I'd say, okay, yeah, that could happen. They could win the division. How do you think it plays out?
Yeah, I think when you look at this division, and there's people out there, I think it may be the weakest one in the National Football League, but I look at the Buccaneers, and you call me a homer or not, but I mean, I just look at them, but I look at the other teams too, right? You look at the Falcons with a first-year head coach in Kevin Stefanski. What's their quarterback situation like? Michael Penix Jr., Tua Tagovailoa. I don't even think they know what the right answer is there. Carolina with a whole slew of injuries, even before they've played one snap in the regular season. And then New Orleans, you know, they played well down the stretch last year, but Tyler Shuck, that second year for a quarterback is always very tough. So if you're the Bucs, you're looking at returning your head coach, returning your quarterback. You're getting deeper. You fix some of the weaknesses that you had on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the front seven. I think it's the Buccaneers' division to lose, man. I don't know if they're going to win 12, 13 games, but I think they're going to be in a good, I think they're in probably the best spot out of anybody to be able to win it all, or win the division, rather.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, people can call it weak if they want. I think competitive. I think it's going to be a competitive division for sure. Jay, listen, if we turn our attention to the NHL, I know you're big covering of the Tampa Bay Lightning as well. So Victor Hedman returning for year 18. Last year, obviously, we know he took some time away from the game just to kind of get right. Dan Rosen had the article about how it seems like he's ready to get back out there mentally. What are you expecting from the captain this year?
First off, I thought it was incredibly brave what he did. Speaking to Dan, Dan's a good friend of mine as well, and it was tough for Hetty. I mean, to be able to see him out there and not really, I've covered them for 13 years now, so to see him there and not play with the team was weird. It was weird. He's the captain of the team, and you knew that it was something. You knew that it was something that was really affecting him, and he was battling back from injury. And just think about it, man. He's battling back from injury. He comes back, he gets injured again. He's in this race against the clock to make sure that he can play in the Olympics. It means the world to him to represent Sweden at the Olympics, right? And then he gets to that game when he's playing against Team USA and he gets hurt in warmups, and then he can't play. And another thing that not a lot of people have mentioned is that Hetty lost his dog last year as well. This is a guy like him and his dog they did a lot. Harry Hedman. They do a lot of stuff with the Humane Society. And when his pup, crossed the Rainbow Bridge last year, it's just one of those things where I know people say, you everybody loses pets, but when it happens, it's something that you're just not going through with your wife and your kids, and anything that could have gone wrong for Victor Hedman went wrong. And so just to be able to see him open and honest enough to be able to have that conversation with Dan, I felt so good for him, and I'm just excited for him. I think he's going to be rearing and ready to go here for season 18. Unbelievable.
I still remember when he was drafted, so it's crazy that much time has passed. But future Hall of Famer, he's been an absolute stud. The team also brings in John Carlson. They do replace Darren Radish, who cashed in on a couple good seasons. Can't blame him for doing that. Looking at this team and the division, it's going to be super competitive. How do you think the top three look like when it's all said and done after 84 games this year?
Oh, it's going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, Florida, it seems like they have that kind of reload, right? That they reload and make all the acquisitions. They bring in Brady Tkachuk. They seemingly, make an upgrade there at the goaltending position. I think you got to give them credit. You're going to have Barkov back. You're going to have these guys. Matthew Tkachuk is going to be healthy going into the season. So I think they're definitely at the top. I think Buffalo, what they did last year, I think big time experience that they got. And man, you want to talk about players stepping up. You're looking at Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin, and then the Lightning. It's tough to bet against Kucherov and Vasilevsky and John Cooper as long as they have those three guys kind of leading the way, and the aforementioned Victor Hedman. I think all three of those teams are going to be right in the mix.
Where do you think Connor Hellebuyck ends up?
That's a good one. I've been racking my brain. I've been driving about 3.5 hours to Jacksonville from Tampa, and if I'm a team like Edmonton, if I'm a team like Colorado, if I have these generational talents, I'm doing whatever it takes. I'm doing whatever it takes to get another one. If I'm Colorado, if I'm Edmonton, I'm doing anything humanly possible to show Connor McDavid we are doing all it takes to get a great defense, to get a great goalie, whatever. Because I tell you what, and I probably said this on these airwaves before, there's whispers down here, man, that Connor McDavid wants to come play for John Cooper. And every time he's here, he's always hanging out, saying hi to Cirelli and Hagel and Coop, and the fans even love him down here. It's kind of crazy how that happens, but you don't want to. If you're an Edmonton fan, you don't want to. You want him to retire an Oiler, right? So you got to make sure that you keep him no matter what. And I think getting a guy like Connor Hellebuyck, I don't know what the price would be right now, but I would do. Give him a blank check, man. I don't care if he's 33. That guy's got a lot of good hockey left in him.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think a lot of teams, maybe outside of the team you cover and a few others, should be making that phone call to the Winnipeg Jets just to see what it might cost. Well, Jay, thanks so much for doing this today. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight. Bucks and Jags wrapping up the preseason.
You're the man. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you very much. There you go. Jay Retcher from the Jay Retcher podcast. Give him a follow on X at Jay Retcher, JayRecher. You can follow all of the coverage there. Matt from Wasaga says, you're going to talk to Florida man? Yeah, Florida man. That's how you refer to people from Florida. Well, men from Florida. Wasn't that the whole joke, Declan, back in the day? You put in your birthday and then just wrote Florida man, and you would get the craziest news headline of all time?
Yes.
What was yours?
Never looked it up. Actually, I did one. I don't remember what it was. It was probably something really crazy.
I'm going to do mine. Florida man, Feb 12. And we'll see what pops up. What's the biggest story?
There's a 40% chance you can't read it. That's the problem.
I cannot read this one for sure. Arrested for recording himself. Yeah, I can't read it. I could do this one. A guy was arrested, a 63-year-old Florida man from Summerfield, for flashing his headlights at a county sheriff. That one's okay. Another one. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, all these are kind of sick. I can't really get into them, but that was the thing back in the day. So that's why we referenced him as Florida man. But Jay's awesome. He ain't doing anything like that. We'll take a break. When we come back, more text. 1-833-401-1440 plus 5 questions. It is the Jason Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is serious about cooling. In fact, we offer multiple ways to cool your home. So you better
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
If you're looking for traditional air conditioning, we got you.
Call Legacy. Legacy.
Or ask us about a heat pump to help you heat and cool.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Cool with AC or cool with a heat pump. Cool your home with Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
At GS Construction, we won't quit until we find a way to get the job done. And the right person makes all the difference. We're looking for our next superintendent, an experienced leader ready to take on the role. Because while GS Construction is building the water, sewage, and drainage systems Edmonton communities rely on, the superintendent is building up the team. If you know how to keep a job site safe, productive, and moving, we want to hear from you. Visit gsconstruction.ca/careers today.
The Chicken Parmy Burger. McExtreme pulled pork, garlic and black pepper chicken McNuggets, cheesy bacon McFlavor fries, and the Stroop Waffle McFlurry. You've scrolled them. You've screenshotted them. You've never been able to order them until now. This is the McDonald's World Menu Heist. The most wanted menu items taken from around the world, now in Canada. Get them while you can. For a limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
For all your welding supplies, think AWS Welding. Located in Nisku, their readily stocked storefront carries a wide variety of welding glasses, cylinder rentals, plus welding rod, wire, and consumables. Same-day delivery is always available. And if they don't have it, AWS Welding will find it for you fast. Visit their online store today at awswelding.ca or give them a call or text at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. They make it happen.
What you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit? No credit? We got you. Text CHECK to 780-777-7777. That's CHECK to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Plan for success in 2027 with help from the Co-op Grow team. With the latest on-farm technology, our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your fields. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone Field. Make a successful 2027 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Grow team today.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Ariat, Justin, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt, so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. featuring triaxle, tandem, single-axle trucks including cab and chassis, decks, diggers, dumps, pickers, tractors, vacs, and service trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Nation Golf Tournament. Tomorrow at Millwoods Golf Course, you can still sign up. Golf, drinks, swag, food, and fun. Every swing supports Gregor's grads and helps graduates shine on graduation day. Sign up at nationexperiences.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.446, welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Mackenzie McLennan with you here. The show brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Go check it out today. Go to the sports section. Check the Jason Gregor Show boosted odds. A variety of games. We got Major League Baseball. We got WNBA. We got NFL preseason. PlayAlberta.ca. How to get to 5 questions now. Brought to you by The Brick. The sleep sale is on now. Save 40% on the Sealy Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get sheets starting at just $49. And buy one pillow, get the second for just $10. Only at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
Okay, question number 1. Where does Connor Hellebuck land?
Ooh, man, it's an interesting one because, like, my first thought obviously is like Vegas. They'll find a way to get it done. Well, they're way over the salary cap. I'm thinking he wants to go to a team that is competitive, and there's not really those like teams that are competitive that have a lot of money to spend. Most of the teams that have money to spend are not necessarily in a good spot, or maybe don't necessarily need to be going anywhere. I'm going to say, just because it just seems like something they would do, the Florida Panthers put together a package. They clear up some space and find a way to make it work. And we all hate them for it because they need to upgrade that goalie position. It might cost them some skaters, maybe some future assets, which, you know, they're already behind on because of the Kachuk deal. But just for fun and for the mayhem, give me the Florida Panthers. Who do you got, Deck?
The Flyers.
Flyers, yeah.
But, like, Dan Vladar was so good last year. Like, I think Dan Vladar got a hard vote last year, if I'm not mistaken.
He was good.
The only reason I said the Flyers is they took a big swing on Leo Carlson. Didn't work out. Now, this is, hey, spoiler alert, Connor Hellebuck does not play center, but he is, you know, a big-name superstar level player. I think Philadelphia, no, I'm not, obviously they were a playoff team last year. I think they probably think they're a little closer than maybe the rest of the league does, and maybe they feel like this, you know, big move guy. But again, it's like, the more I talk about it, the more I talk myself out of it because Dan Vladar was so good last year, and they just gave him money. So I can't even. So man. So I've talked myself out of it. I don't know. How about that? I don't know. Colorado.
The Flyers have the cap space to do it as well. You know, like you said, you gave Vladar the extension. He's getting 5.5 starting next season.
Yeah, I really spoke without thinking on that one.
Well, here's the thing. And actually, here's another thing. Vladar has a no movement clause as well.
Oh my!
For the next 3 seasons. So maybe he might be the thing that holds it up. But if you're Winnipeg and you needed a goalie under contract for the next few years, Vladar might be a guy you'd say, okay. So I initially like it, but it's tough. Tough to move a goalie. But there should be a lot of teams interested. Colorado would be wild too.
Question number 2. Which top 6 forward or top 4 defensemen on the Oil could you see getting traded at this year's trade deadline?
On the Oilers?
On the Oil.
Yeesh. I don't think any, to be honest with you. Top 6 forwards. So let's just say McDavid and Draisaitl, no, obviously. Hyman, no. I would, if it's going to be anyone, potentially, maybe one of the younger guys, Isaac Howard or Matthew Savoy, if there was, but I don't really believe it'll happen. Like maybe if you were really upgrading a winger and a team wants a prospect, Ike Howard would be a guy you would consider. On the back end, you're not moving Bouchard. I don't see them moving Murphy. I think he would be part of the solution. Wallman, I don't know if anybody wants that contract. Ekholm's a little cheaper, but a little older. Maybe Wallman, I guess. I don't know. I don't think any of those realistically would be moved. Maybe someone wants Ekholm for the veteran leadership for a young team. But sure, let's say Ekholm if there's one. Who do you have?
Yeah, my mind went to a guy you already mentioned in Ike Howard. And it was because I could see him, sort of auditioning, if you will, as a top 6 guy, not being able to play under Babs or within Babs' structure and play the style of hockey he would like him to play, like just lack of defensive responsibility. And then before his trade value presumably, goes down, they get a true top 6, proven maybe is a better word, top 6 winger, and he's the guy who moves out. But again, that's all, again, like a lot of that is dependent on how much he plays and if he even has a top 6 role, but he would maybe be the name I was thinking of.
All right.
Question number 3. Which sporting game / event were you most excited for ever in your life?
Probably would have to be something when I was younger. I don't get as excited as much with age. Couple stand out, though. My first ever Chargers game was 2003. Chargers Raiders from Qualcomm. Talked about it yesterday, actually. Got a chance to see Jerry Rice and Tim Brown play live. Charles Woodson, Rich Gannon for the Raiders. The Chargers had, LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates caught a couple touchdown passes in the game. That was right before he became who he really was. Oilers playoffs. Fortunate to have my cousin Sean hook us up with tickets in 2006. So I got to go to game 6 against the Red Wings. I went to one of the first 2 home games against the Ducks, and then game 6 against the Carolina Hurricanes, when they won, and it was unbelievable. So those 2 stand out. In recent times, maybe Azteca, Canada taking on Mexico and winning 2-1. 2021 in the snow. I think that was just a really cool experience as well. So you asked for one, I gave you 3. What do you got?
Well, the answer for me in this question will always be the 2007 Grey Cup. Saskatchewan was playing in it, obviously went on to win it. I was 10 years old, super formative age, and I was at the game. So that will always probably be there. The other one, I guess, would be like the 2009 Grey Cup. That would be up there as well. And then in terms of an event, I was the Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight. That would probably be that would probably round it out.
Sweet.
Also, but just really quickly, sidebar, there's this crazy story developing apparently. There are 2 lions loose in the state of Indiana, and authorities are unsure of where they even came from. Some guy spotted it on a drone in the field, and now the authorities are out looking for it. Just absolutely crazy. I couldn't imagine just going for a run in rural Indiana and coming across a lion or something. I know that's an unbelievable sidebar, but I just wanted to touch on it.
That's like Tiger King stuff, probably those legal zoos and stuff.
Dude, well, it's because you'll see, obviously, how in the Florida Everglades, the Burmese pythons became so much a part of that ecosystem is these people were importing snakes in, these exotic snakes, and then just releasing them into the wild because they couldn't keep them and the breeding and stuff like that. Now, obviously, there are Burmese pythons in the Everglades. I wonder if this is something like that, somehow these lions got snuck into a private collector's Indiana household and he just ended up releasing them. Crazy stuff. But anyway.
Quickly, there's a new documentary. I think it's a multi-episode series on HBO about the transport of snakes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild, man. Some of those snakes are scary. I don't trust them.
Dude, I believe it.
Ugh.
I can't believe they just got brought into Florida, then just got released into the wild, and now they just thrive in that ecosystem. They're called Burmese pythons because they're from Burma. What are they doing in Florida? Anyway.
We can't be playing God like that.
Question number 4. Do you blame Americans for wanting out of Canadian markets?
Kind of. You're being paid millions of dollars to play a game, and I sympathize with them. They're still humans. Things are tough, but you're loved in these markets. Matthew Tkachuk was a king in Calgary. You go, JT Miller was loved in Vancouver. Connor Hellebuyck, same sort of thing in Winnipeg. These guys are beloved by their markets. You're playing hockey for a living. You're getting paid an American living in Canada. I can tell you there's a few benefits with that as well. So part of me is like, you're still human. You still have the right to be happy. But if you sign a contract, play it out. You know what happened to me, Deck? I signed a contract with a cable provider, and they just told me yesterday they're going to charge me more for rentals, the box rental. What's the point of signing a contract if they can just jack up the price mid-contract? You signed a contract, you should play it out. So at the end of the day, no, I think it's kind of loser behavior to pull that kind of stuff when you sign a deal.
Mm.
What do you think?
Yeah, like you make the best point in all of this. Like you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game. The one thing you touched on that I would push back on, especially in Canadian markets, is like these guys are always treated like heroes. I don't think that's true at all. I think in a lot of cases they absolutely are. But I think when things don't go well, they get, they like, again, and this is a Canadian guy, but look at Darnell Nurse here in Edmonton. Like he had, two of his best friends and a team that was poised to win the Stanley Cup, and he was like, he wanted out, right? Like there are guys who exist in that situation. Like I think Austin Matthews in Toronto's, Mitch Marner, another Canadian, by the way, but him in Toronto, it's similar. So like, I don't love they always have it good. Things are always great for them because I don't think it is a lot of the times. And I think that is way more specific to Canadian markets than a lot of American markets. So I get it from that perspective. But at the end of the day, I think you broke it down the best way possible. Like you're getting paid millions of dollars really to play a game. Like, you got to check your privilege at the door a little bit and buck up here. So.
I'll also say to push back on what you said about pushing back on me.
Oh,
when
the double pushback.
When the autograph lines are filled out at the mall, Darnell Nurse is a huge line. So yes, the jaded adults can be rude and they can be rude on social media. But they're still by the kids. The kids will always come support you. You'll still always have them. So it goes both ways.
I get, but like, I guess. I don't know. The kids don't buy the tickets or pay the cable subscription,
but they love you.
Yeah, it is cool, dude. Hey,
Kids
there's no, by the way, just another sidebar. There's nothing cooler than
push back on that.
There's nothing cooler than having a kid think you're sick,
right?
Like then you feel like you're like, wow, I'm a good person. I've done something right.
A couple of people saying Nurse was pushed out. I don't blame him. I will say I don't blame him for wanting to have a fresh start.
But if he was American, you would have.
Yeah.
Question number 5. Mount Rushmore of games, board, card, video, children's. Give me your top 4.
Oh, I hate card games, so I'm not gonna pick any card games for sure. Board games, man, Trivial Pursuit's pretty fun. I'll throw a Monopoly in there, although I don't play very often because it gets heated too fast. Right now, me big fan of college football, 25. I think that's when I have. Maybe it's 26. And to give me GTA 5. Those would be, well, actually, you know what? Scrap that. I don't play board games. GTA 5, NCAA football, Tony Hawk's Underground Skater, or one of like the first ones, Pro Skater, and classic Madden, like 2005. Not the new garbage. What do you got?
So I tried to think about this. Chess is 1-1 for me. That's Washington's head on the Rushmore. I'm gonna put Madden in there.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaky little one for you, hide and seek. And then my last one I think would probably be Crib.
That's fair. That's a popular one.
Mm-hmm.
Hide and go seek, like playing outside, hiding, like that's like a real activity.
Yeah.
Moving your legs a little bit. Yeah.
I don't think you probably can't unless you have a kid. I don't think you can play hide and seek past the age of like 9. But that sweet spot from like 6 to 8, nothing better.
It really was. Did you ever play hide and go seek tag?
Oh,
or like capture the flag?
Buddy, don't even get me started on this.
Man.
That's actually the real go, but it was just too niche to make the list.
When you did like capture the flag and you got it, like what a feeling. We used to play a game in our neighborhood because we had like 184th, I don't know, 10, 15 kids. And we would basically, I don't even know if it was like technically capture the flag or whatever, but you had to touch the hoop at the Knowles house, the basketball hoop. And that's how you got a point. And one day I got trapped in my garage and like literally Indiana Jones type stuff. Somebody closed the garage door. I was coming. I slid underneath to get out and then like backwards ran into the like where I had to get to just to show off. It was good old times. I'd love to go play some of that a little bit. We should set that up.
We want to get out in the parking lot after this? And
Well, like 1440 meetup, capture the flag or something.
oh, that'd be so much fun.
Go down to Horlock or something.
Just the most washed group of adults. Not a single working knee in that entire
No.
capture the flag game.
I mean, a lot of sweat. Kick the can. That's what Texter says. Yeah, that was the name. We didn't have a can. We were just touching a basketball hoop. But yeah, pretty much the same thing. Kick the can was a great game. A lot of texts here on the Darnell Nurse Talk. Some pushback. Some pushback on the pushback on the pushback. We'll get to that later on in the program. Going to take a break, though. When we come back, Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet will join us. But first, a Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger, brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Mike and his team at Northgate care about the community. And for the rest of August, proceeds from every vehicle sold will be going towards the Summerland wildfire victims. Only at NorthgateGM.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Toronto Blue Jays have signed veteran pitcher Lorenzen to a 1-year deal. Wow, in Edmonton Oilers news, they've announced that Hockey Canada's Misha Donskov will be joining the club as a coaching consultant. Elsewhere in the NHL, Connor Halley requesting a trade out of Winnipeg, and some Raptors news as they will raise Kyle Lowry's number 7 to the Raptors on January 10th. MLB scores right now. 1-game rain delay in the top of the first sees the Astros and Yankees tied 0-0. 2 finals. Cards over the Orioles 7-5 and Nats over the Rockies 7-1. And the Blue Jays will be in action in about 5 minutes here against the Royals with Eric Getty on the mound. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Mr. Rooter cries like a little tiny baby child.
Hey, Mr. Rooter, you've got a package from Mrs. Rooter.
Aw, the card says, "Thank you for our unbreakable bond. You're the Pro Press fitting to my copper pipe."
Ooh, what's in the package, Mr. Rooter?
Let's see. It's a Plumbus 2000 spud wrench. She knew I'd never buy one for myself.
Just like tears. It's flowing or it's free with Mr. Rooter.
I love that woman.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. Hire Good provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact. Because our team is built on second chances, and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives.
1 in 3 Canadians aren't getting enough sleep. Let the Brick help you sleep better for less. Save 40% on the Sealy Crown Jewel Resort mattress. Get cheap starting at just $49. And buy 1 pillow, get the second one for just $10. Plus, take up to 55 months to pay with no interest and no money down. And with next day delivery in Edmonton, you can start sleeping better right away. Some conditions apply. OAC. See in store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
Diamond Rides is one of Alberta's premier specialty charter companies. With our luxury motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation services. Our seatbelt equipped top-of-the-line motor coaches have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel needs across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Feeling overwhelmed by debt? Concerned about what the next few weeks or months will bring for your finances? My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. You don't have to navigate this alone. Together, we can review your options and build a personalized plan to reduce your payments and get you out of debt, so you can breathe again. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. Featuring tri-axle, tandem, single-axle trucks including cab and chassis, decks, diggers, dumps, pickers, tractors, vacs, and service trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by 01 Athletic Care, Edmonton's multidisciplinary health clinic at West Edmonton Mall. Physicians, physio, massage, sports psychology, and more. One team, one roof, one plan. Book now at 01.ca. That's ZERONE.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440. Halley, Kruger, Kenzie with you here in the Sports 1440 studios in West Edmonton Mall. Text line 1-833-401-1440. The show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. Today, grand a day. That's 20 years, $7.3 million, $1,000 a day. It would be amazing. At PlayAlberta.ca, tomorrow's Lotto Max, an estimated $10 million. And on Saturday, you got the Gold Ball jackpot worth $20 million. Go check it out. You can't win without a ticket at PlayAlberta.ca. Right now, we'll get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction. They are hiring operators, pipe layers, and a superintendent. Work for a fantastic company that loves to promote from within with great benefits. Also, huge sports fans. Apply at gsconstruction.ca and search careers, as we are joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. Spec, how was the concert last night?
That was awesome. Awesome. Good. Always fun to go see a big rock show in a huge stadium with lots of people, like-minded music lovers. So yeah, man. I mean, I was talking last night, back in the day, way before you were born, they used to have concerts in that stadium when it was first opened called the Rock Circus. And I think they had 3 of them, and it was like an all-day event. And like you'd head in there at like 1 PM and you'd stay till whatever midnight. And it was just, they have like 6 or 7 bands, like Nugent played, Pete Frampton played. You'd be in the end zone. They'd leave the end zone grass. So you just play Frisbee all afternoon, listening to music. It was awesome.
Oh,
yeah, they didn't even cover the whole field. Half the field was grass. So you could just play Frisbee and listen to, Hart or Nugent or Warren Zevon or some great band. It was pretty cool. It was a nice memory, but last night was good. A real good show by Guns N' Roses. They're total pros, man. They've been doing it a long time. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, I would believe that. I've heard the stories about how, that's the band you put on at the end of the festival. They know how to work the crowd and everything like that. And sounded like positive reviews from everyone. Spec, today, the Edmonton Oilers making some news here. And what I've seen on social media, generally positive, bringing in Misha Donskov as a coaching consultant, of course, with Hockey Canada. But this is a guy who I would say hockey lifer. You've seen him on different levels, coaching, assistant coaching, won a Stanley Cup. What do you think he will be doing with this new role?
I don't know. That's a really good question. He is. He's just a noted all-around, really smart hockey guy. So, with a chance to bring him into your program, what do they say? He'll be around for several home dates every month.
Yeah,
basically.
Select number of days.
A number of days, whatever that's supposed to mean. But you know what? It can't be bad, right? It just can't be bad. Like bringing in new views. I don't know what, I'm going to make the leap here that Mike Babcock is in with this and okay with this. And that's what I want in my head coach. I don't want a paranoid head coach that says, oh man, don't bring some other new young hot guy around because he might make me not look smart. Like I want a coach whose ears are open and who still can learn. So that's what I see in Misha Donskoi, is a guy that will just bring another good hockey mind to your rink. And I'm not sure how that can be a bad thing.
Yeah, kind of reminds me with the Edmonton Elks this past offseason, bringing in Rick Campbell as a coaching and analyst. Just another set of eyes, another guy who's been around the game for as long as he has. And even if it is showing up, for whatever the set number of days each month, bringing in some film, breaking things down, like a good hockey mind, you always got to be willing to add that to the room.
Yeah, like Babcock, I've been told by people who work with him, he's a real project guy. Like he'll give an assistant a project, and particularly in the summer, and say, figure this out, or why do we have trouble with that, or what do the best teams do in this situation? And I'm not sure. Donskoi's got a lot going on. Like he's running the World Junior team, right? Mm-hmm. He's got some things going on. So I don't know if he'll be up for one of Babcock's sort of elongated projects, but certainly he's a smart guy that could sit down in a meeting, and when it's his turn to talk, I would think you should open up your ears and listen. So I don't know. I just, there might be some antiquated, in my opinion, thinking that says that can find a negative here. I don't find a negative. I think more smart hockey people around your table is got to be a good thing, doesn't it?
I would totally agree. And you know what? Even there's little pushbacks and disagreements every once in a while. I think
Good.
that's okay, right? Like that.
Oh, for
That
sure.
leads to good things. Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Spec, it was probably like just when we wrapped up yesterday. Ryan Rishaug followed up on the Oilers injury news, saying that's for Savoy and Anderson, not available until late October or so. You know, hey, that opens opportunity for the goalies, but for the top six, I don't know if that is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins getting in there a little bit more so, or Ike Howard, whoever it might be. But did you expect it to be this long? And, you know, what does that change for this team? Because I will say I kind of thought maybe out of camp could have been opening night at least.
Yeah, my understanding, talking to a very good source today, and I'm going to write something right away here, not a ton of worry for Savoy being a long-term thing. They should be able, I think the Oilers feel like at training camp, they should be able to come up with a timeline. They've been kind of burnt in the past with timelines. They're a timeline shy organization. You know, everyone was always day to day, then they were week to week, then they were month to month. We never really knew. So the feeling is that being young and not being too badly injured, Savoy is not a major concern. Freddie Anderson is older, and they're just going to take their time with him because they can. You know, I would say to you that if I'm Tristan Jarry, I feel like I got a ton to prove here. And he's been in Edmonton training all summer. And, you know, there's been times in Tristan Jarry's career where he's been pretty good, and there's been times when he hasn't. I would suggest to you that if we don't see the pretty good Tristan Jarry right out of the gate here, then he doesn't exist. This is time for Tristan Jarry to prove to everybody. You know, now there's more opportunity with Anderson being hurt. So this is a real open door for Tristan Jarry to reestablish himself, and I think you'll see some level of that. Devin Levi's a young guy, and he had a hell of a year in the AHL last year, and it's his time to show there. And in terms of opportunity, like, yeah, obviously there's guys like Nuge. Nuge is going to get his ice time. When I think of added opportunity, it's going to trickle down. Like at some point, there's going to be some ice time for somebody, whether it's whether it's Ike Howard, whether it's a Josh Szymanski, whether it's one of these new guys like Trelmax, you know, or that's a bit of even a longer shot would be Ratty. I think a guy that is destined for Bakersfield, but some young guy is going to get a shot. That's the good news. But Connor, the bad news is there's barely any games for anybody to get a shot in the preseason. So it's kind of tricky if you're a young guy looking for your chance, because you're going to get half the shifts this year than you used to get in this same scenario. Isn't that fair?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you'll have to bring it in camp, and then when you get that opportunity, don't mess it up. Like, get out there, throw some hits, be recognized, be noticed for something. I'm really intrigued to see who kind of takes advantage of these opportunities. As Mark Spector joining us here on the Jason Gregor Show. The topic has been brought up with PTOs for a little while here, and names thrown around. I'm not going to ask you to give me any names, but do you think that the Oilers are in the market for potential PTO, or do you think they like who they have?
So my understanding is this, that they haven't been in the market, but they do have tons of cap space, right? So, you know, I mean, any GM is always, you know, his eyes are open. He takes a phone call or whatever. This injury situation has probably got Stan Bowman looking a little more closely, but I think rather than, unless something like, where are we right now? The guys that we know that are UFAs, the guys like, you know, the guys like Tarasenko, and there's about 20 other guys out there. At this point, they are what they are. They're looking at PTOs. They're looking at bringing their price way down and doing a Jack Roslovic deal. So those guys are just trying to decide right now, like, what camp do I want to go to? What place works best for me? What team will I get the most opportunity? So if one of those guys comes knocking at your door like Roslovic did, well, for sure Bowman's going to look at it. The other one would be, you know, as camp goes on, especially in a short camp, there's always some young guys that start to push a veteran guy out the door a little bit, all across the league. Every camp in every town, there's some surprise, and there's another player that, geez, he wasn't expendable at the start of this camp, but he might be now. Bowman's got a bunch of cap space. He'll look for those guys too, but I am not told that, you know, they're immediately scouring the free agent wire for PTOs. I think I don't think they're as worried about this injury scenario as a lot of your listeners are.
Well, that would make sense. A panic in the text line for a little while here. Now, Spec, the big news of today, Connor Halley officially putting it out there. He would like to be traded out of Winnipeg. From his statement, he said, several months ago, I privately requested a trade. I have tried to handle the situation quietly and respectfully while giving the organization time to explore its options. With training camp approaching, I felt it was important to publicly confirm my request. So he wants to be moved out. The unfortunate thing is he does have the no movement clause, which does make things a little bit more complicated. There's a can of worms that gets opened up here every time this happens, because we've got a lot of texts coming in saying, if you demand a request or you demand a trade, request a trade, you should have to waive that. Like, you should be able to be traded anywhere and lose that control. Where do you come out on this? Because we know it's such a big negotiating thing for GMs where they can put that in there just to kind of sweeten the contract.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking around and keeping my eye open today. Have we heard where he's going to submit a list of any number of teams? Is any of that out there?
Nothing like that has come out yet.
Yeah, so, I'm going to say to you that if he said to Cheveldayoff, the GM in Winnipeg, that I want to trade, he's already given him a list of teams. Nobody seems to be able to have reported yet how long that list is, which teams they are. Is it a Dylan Larkin deal where they give you 3 teams that are all really good and capped out, and you're supposed to make a deal with one of them? Like, American, like, I don't know what was in the water at the Olympics, but that American gold medal winning team, like, they just all came out of there looking to, get moved out of their own town and into a new town, didn't they? Holy cow.
Newfound sense of patriotism, maybe.
I don't know what it is. Like, it's crazy. The Kachuks and Quinn Hughes and now this guy and Dylan Larkin, and I don't love that. It's a bad look in my opinion, but whatever. So I don't know what I'm not. Cheveldayoff is a tough cookie. He doesn't get pushed around. He never has. I don't think, like, it's a tough trade. This guy, you got to find the right team. He's a great value at $8.5 million because he's such a good goalie. But you got to find someone who has what you need, and maybe that's Carolina. That's what people are saying. Maybe does Vegas always worm their way into one of these deals? They tend to. I'm not sure. I mean, boy, I don't know if Kelly McCrimmon, he'd have to pull out a magic trick to pull this one off, but don't put it past him. So I don't love it. I don't love the fact that Hellebuck signs a long-term deal in Winnipeg and then changes his mind. Like, don't sign the deal, but I guess that's the world we're living in right now.
Yeah, I would say we were talking about that in 5 questions, and that's where I come out of it. Like, well, you signed the deal. No one made you sign the deal. You committed to it, and now it's just an awkward situation. The Golden Knights are a funny one because they are a projected $8.6 million over the salary cap for next year.
Yeah.
There's things they can work around that with injuries and LTIR, that sort of thing. But, yeah, it's fun to watch what might happen with this Hellebuck deal, and, of course, Oilers fans are clamoring, hey, can they get involved in it? I'm not quite sure. Spec, thanks for doing this again today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, sounds good, Connor.
There you go. Mark Spector of Rogers Sports. Here on the Jason Gregor Show. Joins us every Monday through Friday, just after 5 o'clock. A lot of text rolling in here. JC says, guys, what do you think a Hellebuck trade would look like? And does he want an American team? Well, we don't know that yet. That's the question, JC. Does he want out of Canada? Like Edmonton, I'm sure they would love that. I got to think you want a goaltending prospect, maybe even a roster player to slide in there immediately. Someone with some term to hang around. A lot of prospects, right? First round pick, multiple. I think it'd be a pretty decent package. But what's going to be out there? And as Spec brought up, like, if it is like the Dylan Larkin situation with the Red Wings and he presents a 4-team list and it's 4 teams that don't have prospects because they're contenders and don't have, their first round pick the next couple of years and are right up against the cap, well, what do you do? It's tough to really make that move. So not necessarily a great spot for the Winnipeg Jets. Text line is 1-833-401-1440. We kind of got in the discussion about, playing in Canada and making the move out of the way. JP says they're also on the road all the time. Usually only live in that city 8 to 9 months out of the year. Yeah, typically for the most part, when the season ends, players are out of there. You still live in the conditions for a little bit, but overall, it's not that bad. I think guys could handle it. We were on the topic of your favorite games to play. Tim says, hide and seek when I'd go to the warehouse side of my office with my kids after hours. I can't drive past that area without reminiscing, from Tim. Those are the things you don't forget. My dad was a teacher, and for my birthday, we'd go to the school because my birthday's in February. Not much to do. So we'd go to the school and play like floor hockey and stuff like that in the gym, and then play hide and go seek in the halls after. You'll never forget that. It was the best times out there. Glenn says, sit Hellebuck until you find a deal. If it takes months, who cares? Well, and that's what I wonder. If you got to that point where you told Connor Hellebuck, hey, we'll sit you. We don't care. What happens? Does he say, okay, well, how about I continue to play and we work on a contract? Like, that is an option. It is. Hellebuck could say, I'm not reporting. That's an option. Like, there's many ways this can play out. And from the statements today, it seems respectful on both sides. In case you missed it, Kevin Cheveldayoff said that Connor has been open with us with his desire for a change. He's been an important part of the Jets organization for many years, and we have tremendous respect for what he has accomplished here. While we will continue to work through the situation in a thoughtful manner, there's no update on this time. It's just brutal. It's tough to make this trade. And until we get more information about it, it's hard to say for sure. Has Winnipeg really looked out? It's going to be an intriguing storyline to watch as the season rolls on here. Similar to Dylan Larkin. Will there be a trade? Will they hold out? Will they get out there and play until it happens? We'll have to see. Kevin says it is tough for the Jets to find a team that's contending if he wants to go to a contender. And that's exactly it, Kevin. When we yesterday on the show had Stephen Ellis on the show, and we were talking about the top prospect pools, contending teams aren't there. Like, they have some prospects, but they're not as good as the teams that are losing. So heck, yeah, like San Jose could put together a hell of a package. Are they going to be a contending team this year? Probably not. Hellebuck's 33. Could they be there in a few years when he's 35, 36? Absolutely. They could be. But there's no guarantees for sure. So, is he going to find an immediate contender? I don't think so. Maybe a team works it out. Maybe Vegas finds a way. Maybe the Panthers find a way. Could upgrade their goaltending position for sure. Maybe the Oilers find a way. But it seems right now like it's going to be tough. Brian says the Jets have Skinner. Yeah, but they would need another goalie. And I don't think you want to just bring up someone from the AHL that's not properly developed to be a backup. Maybe you would. Maybe they'd be fine with it. Maybe they just want skaters or draft picks. That could be a solution as well. But you're going to want probably some players, ideally an NHL player, and picks as well. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, more text. We've got the stats of the day. We'll go in the room and more. It is the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
When your project can't afford downtime, call Japa Equipment Rentals. From excavators and wheel loaders to compaction equipment, Japa has the machines you need. Trusted since 1972. Visit japaequipment.com or stop our Edmonton or Calgary locations.
Don't let rookies scratch your custom wheels. Evolve Wheels and Tires uses premium touchless equipment designed to protect your wheel and tire investment. Trust the enthusiasts at Evolve Wheels and Tires, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride. Evolve your experience.
2006, we saw the launch of Twitter. JT was #1 with Sexy Back, and the corner of Jasper Ave and 118th was never the same.
On the Rocks. Celebrate 20 years of OTR.
Friday, September 18th.
With Whale and the Wolf. Whale and the Wolf.
20 years of music and memories.
20 years of On the Rocks.
Friday, September 18th. Get in early. Jasper Ave and 118th.
Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
Crispy, caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. John's pan pizza made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at PapaJohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. It might have been scraped by the snowblower. Can't pick up door crashing. Or did the company Christmas party. At some point over the winter, your car was damaged and it's been hiding under a coat of winter grime. Then come and see Robertson Body Works. We can take care of the damage and the dirt. This week only, call and book a repair. And get a complete auto detailing absolutely free. But you have to book your appointment before the week is up. Go to RobertsonBodyWorks.com. I'm Tim Robertson, and I fix cars. If you've got a lot of grass to cut, or just a little, the Lawnmower Hospital in Toro make it a breeze. Handle your yard with an easy maneuvering personal pace Toro walk behind mower. Commercial and acreage use. Hop on a Toro My Ride zero turn. The comfort and performance you deserve. Plus 0% financing available for up to 36 months. See Toro, the top name in turf. Now at lawnmowerhawk.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Get the Gregor special. Enjoy 20% off any regular menu price order. Enter promo code Gregor, papajohns.ca, or on the Papa John's app.
The Jason Gregor Show with guest host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
To the Jason Gregor Show here on Sports 1440, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. It's a grand day tonight at PlayAlberta.ca. Get your ticket, you got the Lotto Max, Gold Ball Jackpot, lots coming out this weekend, plus our daily specials. Go check them out. Maybe we'll win some cash. Remember to use your game sense. Halley, with you in the studio. No 2-minute warning today. Cam Tate just a little on the weather, so send your positive vibes to Tater. Hopefully we'll be able to get him back on tomorrow on the show, but we'll look at the stats of the day here instead. Brought to you by All Star Construction, founded in 2009. They continue to grow. They're hiring general laborers, hydrovac operator, backhoe operator, gas piping technician, and more. Go to Indeed.com and search All Star Construction. And we do here some Major League Baseball stats of the day. Here's something for you. Shohei Ohtani is one extra base hit away from hitting at least 60 prior to September in each of his first 3 seasons with the Dodgers. Can you think of the only other player to do that in history? He's got a few more days left before September to hit a multi-base hit to get to 60 on the year. The only other Dodger to do that. Blue Jays legend Sean Green. So some elite company there. He did that from 2000 to 2002. Also entering the 9th inning yesterday. The Cincinnati Reds were down by 6 runs and batting .226 as a team on the season. No other MLB team in modern era has come to the plate in the 9th inning with a deficit that large and a team batting average that low and won a game. Your boys might be onto something, Dick. Down 6 runs, batting .226. Biggest comeback of all time. The things you can dig into. Yesterday, we really got into it with Tristan Peters of the White Sox, who's been kind of a stud. He joined some elite company as a player who had 6 RBIs in a game, 5 times on base in a game. Different ways to get it there. 4 straight games with a home run, a cycle, a grand slam, and a walk-off home run. Jimmy Fox in 1933 had that in a season. Joe DiMaggio in 1937 had that in a season. Well, as another day has gone by, he's done something else. In Major League Baseball history, only 2 players had a 5-game span with 10 plus hits, 10 or a home run in every game, multiple doubles, multiple walks, and a stolen base. Tristan Peters in his last 5 games, and Babe Ruth from June 10th to 14th, 1921. So if he has another big game tonight, we'll just add to that. Or maybe on Friday, and we'll just continue to show that he's doing things that haven't been done in like 100 years. Pretty awesome. The White Sox also for a team in Major League Baseball to have 2 rookies with 5-game home run streaks in the same season. Murakami did it earlier, and now Tristan Peters doing it. So there you go. Some interesting stats today. Also on this day back in 1978, a pretty exclusive group. Joe Morgan became the first member of the 200 homer, 500 steal club. The unique balance of power and speed. Now, when you look at those clubs, the 500 club has 1 member. Jeff, and if you had to guess, only Major League Baseball players had at least 500 stolen bases and 500 home runs. What do you think it is?
Man, I'm so bad at baseball.
Think of a lot of home runs.
Mark McGuire. No, there's no way he was stealing bases.
No. Think of a guy who might have had some clear liquid rubbed on him.
Oh. I don't.
Barry Bonds.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, he had 514 stolen bases in his career, 762. So he's the only member of the 500 club. I feel like he might be the only one to ever do it. He's the only member of the 400 club. If you get to the 300, so 300 home runs at least, and 300 stolen bases. Alex Rodriguez is there. He had almost 700 career home runs. Willie Mays, Carlos Beltran, Andre Dawson, Carlos Bonds, of course, and Steve Finley, who just got there kind of in both categories. 304 home runs, 320 stolen bases. So pretty incredible for these guys to do it. The first one to do it was Willie Mays, who stole his 300 career base in 1965. Baseball stats are fascinating because you can just roll through them, and there's just so much to get to. And then you just kind of like whittle things down. And this guy, 17 guys did this. Oh, now let's make one more little caveat in there. Oh, now only 2 guys have done that. 23, 4, 1, 1440 is the text line. Nobody in Major League Baseball who's paid $500 million forgot how to play baseball, except for one guy. Guess who? Well, we turned on the TV to the Jays game, Dave, and that guy struck out. He is fighting it. He's absolutely struggling. Jays in action. They trail the Royals 2-0. We'll join that game in progress on our 8 a.m. feed, following the Jason Gregor show in about 27 minutes time. So keep it locked here. On the AM dial. If you're streaming, you've got Fox Sports Radio. Sean says overpay. They have to think our future first will be low. How about 4 first, a Levi and Wallman? I don't know. Right now, I don't think the Wallman contract is when you're moving. I don't think there's too many teams that are willing to take that on. The 4 first, again, would be low late picks. So you're thinking 25 or lower. I think Levi would be some of the teams that have interest in. But I'm not sure about Wallman. Now, you need to make something like that to get that cap space. Hovering around 1.9 on that grows. Potentially as the season goes on here, they get the trade deadline. But I just think that might not be what they want. If I'm Winnipeg, I want players that are drafted already, prospects that are doing some things, right? Because I want to see it. I want guys that are going to be on my roster as soon as possible. 4 late round draft picks. Late first round draft picks. Doesn't necessarily do it for me. Kevin says when players come up publicly and ask for a trade, I think that really weakens the trading team's position. Makes it harder for a trade to happen. I think most teams would rather go quietly so they don't lose any leverage. And you're right. Like, there's no denying, Kevin, what you're saying. It's true. As soon as you hear it, you're from a position of weakness, and GMs will try to lowball you and try to capitalize on that. Cheveldayoff doesn't have to do anything. He's under contract. He's under a movement clause. Like, he doesn't have to do anything. But if you get to a certain point, I don't know if it will get ugly, if that's the route they would take. And he starts saying, okay, well, I'm not showing up. Or the Jets start saying, don't bother coming. We'll work on something. But we get it done when we get it done. If Connor Halley missed the game so much that he wants to play and says, you know what, I'll get out there. Does the team miss him enough where they want to bring him back? You have to. You have to do something. And I'm trying to think of the last time we saw a player hold out and not participate in the season. Like, has it ever really gotten that far? I can't think of one off the top of my head. I know we got some really good hockey minds. Eric Lindros in 1991. I guess William Nylander held out in 2018, didn't he? Because that's when we started the William Nylander comeback person of the week. Remember when he came back from holding out? And these fans thought he could be winning comeback player of the year type award. Oh, that was funny. Let's see. Ashton settled the entire year with a contract dispute in Ottawa. Coffey, Matt Sundin, Pavel Bure. So I guess it's not really unheard of. It just doesn't happen that often. Coffey held out with the Oilers. Lindros with the Nordiques. So it could happen. We'll see if it gets to that point. Hopefully not. But it could happen. Matt asks, where do you guys think Connor Halley will end up? Well, we've thrown out some options. The problem is, and if we're assuming that Connor Halley does want to go to a contending team, it's tough to get that job done. There's not as many top prospects for those teams. Their first round picks are in all likelihood going to be later on in the first round. So that makes it a little bit tougher. And most of the contending teams are right up against it when it comes to the salary cap. So there's some obstacles, some hurdles to really make it work. You got to probably take a player back going the other way. So just some numbers. When you look at the Vegas Golden Knights cap space, they're above the cap right now. That's not great. The Leafs also scheduled to be above the cap, as are the Dallas Stars. So you look at the Florida Panthers, they're right at the cap. They're right there. That makes things tough. The Washington Capitals don't need a goalie, but they're also right at the cap. Colorado Avalanche, they could do for an upgrade, and maybe, I have to look at their contracts. See if I can do that quickly here. Could they potentially have a goal to send back the other way? That might be one. Now, you'd probably have to do a little bit more. But if they were able to send a goalie back that can, contribute for the Winnipeg Jets, maybe that's one that they consider here. As I scroll through down here, you got Wedgwood. He's making $2.5 million, and he has no movement clause, so you could move him out. Blackwood has a 16 no trade clause, and he's 5.25. So if he would agree, then maybe you could look at that one. That would make things a little bit easier. And Colorado, I'm sure they'd love to do it. The Minnesota Wild don't need a goalie. Rangers probably don't need a goalie. The Kings, would they do it? Would they want to go live in LA? Maybe. Cap space a little bit tight. The Oilers, like we said, right up against it. They'd love to, I'm sure. Chicago, I don't think it's going to Chicago. I don't think the Islanders. I don't think the Lightning. San Jose, maybe. But then again, it's not an immediate contender, so maybe it'd have to be, that knowledge that this could take some time. Destruction have to be some players down the road as well. Jersey, Ottawa, St. Louis. Those are the teams that have a little bit of cap room. Teams that could be playoff teams. But the teams that have a lot of money. Seattle, Vancouver, Calgary, Detroit. Philly, who we talked about, just re-signed Vladar. The Blue Jackets, the Penguins, Hurricanes. That's another one that people throw out there. That could be interesting. So, yeah, there's a few options. It's really just going to come down to Connor Halley and, what he wants, what matters most to him. We're going to find out. It could be a sticky situation. Sucks for Jets fans, but at some point it looks like the separation will be coming. We'll take our final break of the show when we come back. More of your text to 1-833-401-1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley. It's sitting in, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Field labor. All-Star Construction wants to talk to you. I have equipment operator with trackle or backhoe experience. All-Star Construction wants to talk to you, too, with work in and around Edmonton for local land developers. All-Star Construction offers year-round employment. Whether it's power, gas, or telecom, developers rely on All-Star Construction to get the job done. So if you're a skilled laborer or a heavy equipment operator with trackle or backhoe experience, searching for work, search All-Star Construction on Indeed.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled. And having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers. Trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industry. Find a trailer right for you online or from one of their 3 locations for sales, service, parts, rental, and finance. When you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
1 in 3 Canadians aren't getting enough sleep. Let the break help you sleep better for less. Save 40% on the Stanley Crown Resort mattress. Get cheap starting at just $49. And buy one model, get the second for just $10. Plus take up to 55 months to pay with no interest and no money down. And with next day delivery in Edmonton, you can start sleeping better right away. Some conditions apply. OAC. See in store for details. The Brick. Saving you more.
Ford employee pricing is on now, and you pay what we pay on virtually our entire lineup of Ford vehicles. Visit your Alberta Ford store today.
Plan for success in 2027 with help from the Co-op Pro team with the latest on-farm technology. Our agronomists will work with you to gather and interpret soil samples, analyze data, and gain more insight into your field. We offer local expertise and trusted advice to help you plan your inputs and prepare for the unexpected. Get ready to make data-driven decisions with Co-op Ag Zone Fields. Make a successful 2027 crop plan to meet your field's potential. Talk to your Co-op Pro team today.
Commissioner Allen Auctioneering. Calgary Edmonton Winnipeg Public Reserve Equipment Auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. Featuring articulated dump trucks, backhoes, dozer, excavators, forklifts, sprayers, loaders, manlets, packers, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers. Plus commercial trailer, info at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by CanTorque. Made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at CanTorque.com.
The Jason Gregor Show with Guest Host Connor Halley. This is Sports 1440.
To you by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.543. Welcome back. It is the Jason Gregor Show. Connor Halley sitting in. Jeff Kruger, Mackenzie coming along for the ride. Keep us going here. You can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Text us 1-833-441-1440. The Jason Gregor Show is brought to you by playalberta.ca. Of course, tonight, Daily Grand. Tomorrow, Lotto Max $10 million, and Saturday, the Gold Ball Jackpot $20 million. And you can head over to the sports selection at playalberta.ca. Check out the Jason Gregor Show specials. Daily specials, and then click it. Now, you could be taking the Oilers to finish first in the Pacific Division, plus 200. Play the long game. It's going to go till the end of next regular season, or this regular season. But tonight, a couple bets gone. You can also do deck selects, though. The New York Liberty and the Washington Mystics to win. Yeah. We feeling good about this one tonight? My Mystics?
Not feeling good about this one at all. What was it? It was Sun by plus 13.5 yesterday, lost by 25.
Well, like, get it together, son.
We're not feeling like it's like 8 wins.
I mean, show some
We're not
feeling respect for the game.
He's not feeling good about deck selects right now.
I'm liking it tonight. Liberty Mystics, my Mystics, gonna bring it home tonight. But as always, use your game sense at playalberta.ca. A little in the room. Action Electrical, the most diversified electrical contractor in Alberta for divisions and projects, service, tag, and solar for commercial or residential. Contact them today at actionelectrical.net, and I'll go back into the room, aka the text line. Some texts rolling in here in regards to Connor Halley. That's the big news of the day. In case you missed it, going back to, well, we don't know how long ago. The request was made privately. Connor Halley, after a good run with the Winnipeg Jets, would want to move away, wants to go to give it a go, a fresh start, perhaps. The Winnipeg Jets obviously didn't make that move. Potentially looking at contracts, trying to figure out a way to make it happen. It didn't happen. Earlier today, they go public. Some news on a random August 27th afternoon. And I mean, I think a lot of you guys have come to the same thought process. Todd agrees with what Declan said about if someone requests a trade, their no movement clause should be gone. And I agree. Like, my brain says that makes sense. You sign a contract. If you decide you want to be traded, fine. But you can't say no to anyone. You are putting yourself out there. And if that's the risk you want, then that's what it's going to be, and that's okay. But then I just take that other side as well and think, well, the team gave it to him. How that and I were pushing back earlier today. Then I pushed back against myself, and I said, but you signed a contract. So I think at the end of the day, it's on the player. If you agree to play there, finish out your deal. Make your move. You can ask the team to trade you. But if they don't, you still got to get out there and give that team all you got. This is a sticky situation. NFL preseason tonight, Deck. Your team in action, my team in action. Who are you watching for the Buffalo Bills? Are you watching? Is there any positional battle that you think really matters at this point?
You always want to see how your corners do. You want to see what that wide receiver room looks like. So I would say that.
Your Bills are down 14-3 right now.
Ooh.
Your quarterback is Buchley.
Yep.
Is that am I saying that right?
I thought it was Buchley. Like Buchley. Not Buchley. Like Buckley. Like Buckley almost, except different.
13 for 68 yards. Not too bad. But the Steelers kind of have their way right now, early on. The Steelers, if it's a battle of the backup quarterbacks, even the Steelers. Yeah. They got some guys. Will Howard, 6-9, 2 touchdown passes for 50 yards. Jeremy Bernard and Lake McCree. Not much going on for the Bills. Frank Gore Jr. out there. 4 carries, 3 yards. Skylar Bell. Well, I do like that.
I like Skylar Bell.
2 grabs, 23 yards, one coming on a 16-yard gain. So that's nice to see. Michael Hardman out there. Grinding away for the Buffalo Bills. A couple other games tonight for those of you that are interested. I'm sure some of you are just like, let's just get this over with. The Patriots take on the Cleveland Browns in Ohio. Quarterback 2 battle. Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. You've also got the Raiders and 49ers. And then how about this? The Chargers and Rams. Tickets as low as $8. And if I had a private jet, I'd hop on it right now. Just head down to SoFi Stadium and get some tickets for $8. You can watch the Browns game for $7. Browns Patriots. The Raiders game, $69 for preseason. That's 2 diehard fan bases that will be going on that one. Blue Jays in action, as we talked about, not the best start for the Bluebirds, but it's very early. Bottom of the second, they trail the Royals 4-0. Jays found a way to get back on the winning side of things yesterday against the Royals. Obviously, didn't really like it's lasting too long. The Royals play good ball right now. We know that. They had won 9 in a row going into it last night before falling 3-0 to the Jays. But doesn't matter. They're probably looking to try to start another win so you can try to get back in. Deck, we're in the room right now, so I want to ask you, we talked a little bit about the college game going on tonight. Not the biggest of sorts this weekend. What's coming up?
Yeah, we got week 0, so like the big one I think on everyone's mind is going to be TCU and UNC playing out in Dublin. USC plays San Jose State this week, I believe, as well, so a chance to look at Jaden Mayava and USC. Should be, it's never great, but it should at least be fun.
Fun for sure. Why do we call it Week 0?
Because it started as like just like weird prelim game type things. So like I don't know, like I guess technically wasn't a part of the whatever, but now it's pretty much like week 1. It's pretty much glorified week 1.
That's what I'm saying.
But I just think the biggest thing is the college game doesn't have a preseason, so you can kind of treat week 0 as the preseason.
If you were a top team, go to the top. Let's see. You are USC. Who's the opponent you're scheduling week 1, if you can?
San Jose State.
I like San Jose State's uniforms.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool.
You guys, a few games coming up this weekend. Oh, playing Fargo, North Dakota State, the Bisons.
Yeah, FBS team this year.
They made the jump. Is that financial reasons, or is that just like, okay, this seems pretty good? They won a lot.
Yeah, I think Sacramento State made the jump from FCS to FBS this year as well.
The
Those
MAC,
are the two
right?
schools, yeah. So I don't know. I feel like it's just one of those things where it's like they kind of have accomplished all they can accomplish out there in FCS. Like, why not try and step up?
Yeah, and hey, it maybe helps with. I'm curious how it'll be for recruiting. Actually, that's one of my questions because like the second tier, let's call them that, respectfully, players are like, okay, if I'm going to play lower ball, I want to go to the best place I can. North Dakota State had a heck of a run. Their quarterbacks that they produced with who did they go from? Carson Wentz to Easton Stick,
Trey Lance,
like all quarterbacks who went on to play in the NFL. Obviously, that's a pretty good spot to land if you're going. Now all of a sudden, it's a little tough potentially. It's gonna be a fun weekend for sure. 1, 8, 3, 3, 4, 1, 14, 40. We'll also have a full slate of games in the CFL getting going tomorrow. Everything else on their bye week, they'll be back in action next week, next holiday Monday, for the Labor Day Classic down in Calgary. Then a rematch back in Edmonton the following Saturday. Good on the CFL for that changed a few years ago, not making them play Monday and Friday. But this week, tomorrow, I'm thinking it should be a blowout at one point. When BC gets the Ottawa Red Blacks, they're only 7.5 point favorites right now. I'd be probably pretty comfortable with that one. The Red Blacks struggling. Jim Pop in the building now. Maybe there's a little bit of a boost from that. But the BC Lions playing a lot better football. You got Montreal and Winnipeg tomorrow to kick off the week in Winnipeg. Bombers played a really good start to the game against the Edmonton Oilers. It was 16-6.5. Stopped on the 2-point conversion. Honestly, I thought Winnipeg left a lot of points on the board as well. But the Montreal Alouettes are really good. They're rolling. They can attack you in a few different ways here. So if I'm going one way on that one, and it still is a 7.5 point spread in that one as well. There's a bit of a trend with these two games. Montreal big favorite. Saturday should be a good one. Double header, Calgary and Hamilton at 1 o'clock and at 5 o'clock. Rough Riders getting the Toronto Argonauts. We in the past talked about the Elks game, saying it wasn't a must win, but really need it for the Rough Riders. 6-4. Like if you lose this game, all of a sudden BC ties you, and you fall back another game of the Edmonton Elks. So this is a game kind of gotta have it kind of.
Yeah, man. Like the injuries have really caught up to them here. Job tuning out of a Hamilton team that wasn't great. Didn't look all that competitive against the BC team that is right on your heels and is getting healthy. I talked about it on the with that show. Like they got like you can make the argument 5 of their 6 best players are on the 6-game IL right now. So I don't think Toronto was an easy out. Toronto beat them earlier in the season by the way. When Saskatchewan's defense couldn't stop anything. The line is like Saskatchewan -5, which I think is crazy. They need the win. I'm not sure if they're going to get it.
Yeah, injuries certainly a problem. Chad Kelly, 1 out of 10. How's your ranking as a quarterback in CFL? Or 1, 2, 10?
Dude, like he was a league MOP and went 16-1 one year.
Yeah.
Or 15-1. As a dude, I mean, he's obviously getting a 0. Possibly a 1. As a quarterback, dude, I'll give him an 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't overly impressed in the El Cargos game, but
this has been. I'm talking about the totality of, albeit very short, career. But like I said, man, you go back and look at the one full season played.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, he was 15, maybe 8. I'll give him a 7. Because he does like to turn the ball over a little bit.
Yeah, that can happen. I should have said on a scale of 1 to swag, Kelly. When he's swag belly, things are different. But yeah, you still can't take that team. Obviously, when he gets going, he can do quite a good job for the Argos. That means we're done. Thank you to all of our guests today. In case you missed it, we had Zach Lang, David Owens, Colin Livingston, Scott Burnside, had some great stuff. Jay Rector of the Director Podcast, we talked about the Buccaneers. And a little bit with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Mark Spector, we had a fun edition of the Roundtable 5 Question Stats today. Go check it out wherever you get your podcast. If you missed it, Apple, Google, Spotify. And you can go rewatch it on YouTube at Sports 1440 AM. If you're listening on the Blue Jays Baseball coming up next your way if you're streaming Fox Sports Radio. But first, one final Sports 1440 update with Declan Kruger brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. Good night.
This is Sports 1440.
Edmonton Oilers news that they've announced that Hockey Canada's Michelle Oswald will be joining the club as a coaching consultant. Elsewhere in the NHL, Connor Halley officially requesting a trade out of Winnipeg. Some scores from around the major. See the Astros leading the Yankees 1-0, while the Braves lead the Dodgers by the same score. 2 games currently 4-0. The Brewers leading the Nets in the bottom of the third. The Royals leading the Toronto Blue Jays in the top of the third. Now back to the Giants will be at 7:45. And it was the Nats Rockies earlier today, 7-1 final for the Nats. And the Cards beat the Orioles 7-5. WNBA action in a couple minutes time here. We will see the Golden State Valkyries in New York to take on the Liberty and the Mystics and the Mercury at 8. Elsewhere in the sporting world, Packers star running back Josh Jacobs charged with 2 misdemeanors in the Toronto Raptors raising Kyle Lowry's number 7 on January 10th. I'm Declan Kruger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Download the free iHeart